Hello.
Good evening.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome to the twice annual Downloadable Conflict podcast, or as I like to call it, the Travis and Brian and Lucio and Felicia Funtime Hour.
Hello.
Well,
Kermit the Frog here.
thank you. Thank you. Good contribution. So,
This is your Christmas miracle.
we didn't really have a central topic to discuss,
This
which
is
has
gonna be
been...
a mess, just so everyone out there knows.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not either. I actually enjoy it when you guys.
Well, I'm worried about it.
Well, good. Worry.
You guys should worry about it.
Don't be the hole. Please don't be the hole.
I'm the whole.
Please don't be the hole.
Felicia. Oh, we have to be like all like, oh, Felicia.
It's not funny. Oh my god.
It really isn't.
Let's do an alternate reality where she's like annoying, but we like. Oh,
We're in that reality.
No, we're
I
not.
can do it really well.
Oh my god, you guys. Pull it down.
That's enough. That's sexist.
It's okay to joke about some things, but you take it too far.
That's too far.
Fucking.
Great start.
We've lost the two people we still had clinging on to life. I listened to a podcast 9 months ago. What is this shit?
You guys are so annoying.
So the idea for this podcast
Be cool.
started today when I was on the shitter texting Travis.
We're all good ideas
Yeah.
between me and you. We can discuss.
Yeah.
Which is
On the
also where I
shitter.
might add were some of my best lyric.
It's where my best thoughts come out.
Yeah, when I was
And other
responding about
things.
the stuff earlier, that was actually on the toilet. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're kind of like brothers like that.
the toilet is where we.
Our thoughts are connected through porcelain.
Oh,
Yeah, and shit. But no, I asked him what he thought about the Tomb Raider controversy of the hip touch. The highly controversial hip touch that you see in
in
the
a
Tomb
world of
Raider
not enough
trailer.
controversy.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my thoughts
Yeah.
too.
If you haven't seen it, just YouTube Tomb Raider and click the first video.
Type in two, and then it'll just.
Tomb Raider.
More like
Yes.
Tomb Raper. Am
Yeah.
I right?
Thank you. Wow, more like Womb Raider. Haha.
Whoa!
That's a real thing, I think.
Mom.
Thank you. Yeah, we should probably talk about this because we're just.
You have to
hovering.
like kind of spearhead that.
So basically,
just like you did for
in
me.
the trailer, which I like to call the Saw of fucking Tomb Raider games, it's just 3 minutes of Lara Croft being brutalized in different ways and screaming and being dirty.
There's just
And
going to be
awful.
no money shot because she won't die.
Right.
we
Right.
deserve that.
And it all kind of culminates in the middle of the trailer with some creepy, rapey dude with a gun grabbing her hips and being like, "I always catch the runners." I think that's what he says. It's something like that.
He's
and,
a bad
and he
bandit.
tries to grab her hip, and then he grabs her face, and then he gets shot with his own gun.
Oh, that was
but-
it. Okay.
But the mere presence of the hip touch, the rapey vibe, is highly controversial. I read some articles about it, and some of the commenters, which anyone who's listened to this podcast knows what my feelings about commenters are. I generally ignore them, but you know, I felt like being part of the discussion because it was a perspective that I don't necessarily have, and I don't know, I thought it was interesting. A lot of girls don't like the hip touch at all. They just don't want it to be there even slightly.
Okay.
And this actually kickstarted a discussion me and Lucio were having before the podcast started, before you got back,
Yeah.
about what this Tomb Raider realistically can be.
Well, this is actually that conversation led into this.
Right.
We'll work backwards because
we should lead back because that
Yeah.
that conversation is way more interesting and
But the controversy,
I don't say
the controversy
as
is a good
much.
place to start because then it'll
Yeah.
it'll segue into like,
Yeah, so-
can she overcome this?
Right. So, you know, I was reading this article, and a lot of the girls, and there weren't a lot of girls, there's like 3 girls, so that's...
Right off the bat, were any of them gamers, or did they just happen?
Oh yeah,
to-
they're all gamers.
Okay, that's what I
of
wasn't
course.
sure
That's
about.
why it's the Penny Arcade Report. If you've never been there,
Never.
I assume anyone who comments there is a gamer because I don't know why else you'd read
Why?
the site because it's about gaming.
Penny Arcade's really good. You don't
No,
have
no,
to
no.
be a
The
gamer.
Penny Arcade Report.
I don't even know what that is.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? We just started.
It's legitimate.
I can't take
These are-
two holes.
These
No,
are
but I really am curious because
real social
because
issues.
those people who complained about Mass Effect were not gamers.
That's true,
You
but
know,
they
so-
didn't complain so much on the video game websites before the game came out. The people who reacted
and
to
that's
that
true.
and aren't gamers reacted in their own space well after the game came out. You
I
know,
would be interested to see what kind of games those women play.
um,
I mean, it's not super important.
Sure.
It doesn't like diminish their perspective. I'd be interested to see what.
I thought it was more interesting because the
Because if they
topic.
get mad at that, but then they play like.
I'd like to
Final
think they
Fantasy
wanted to
13.
play Tomb Raider
I don't know.
before they got pissed
I mean,
off.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know, and we'll get into that in a second. But I think it's really interesting. It's really interesting just because their irritation with the scene prompted an uncomfortable discussion about men and women, which was I
Which is-
enjoyed
yeah.
because it was uncomfortable. Because I don't know diplomatically how you start talking about, hey, you know, like if you're a guy and there's a girl who's handcuffed in front of you, and you're also a creepy island psychopath, the thought will cross your mind
Yeah.
that rape could happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a crazy shot in the dark. I don't think I'm painting a crazy picture to say that men think about sexual things, even when they're inappropriate sexual things.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone commenting on that site who's in their right mind is denying that.
Right.
You know, but I don't think that's really what the argument should
But-
be about.
but there was-
you can't be like to argue back and then say no, he wasn't thinking that. It's like, well, we
the
can't say
argument
that.
I
He
saw
wasn't
was
thinking it.
why it wasn't from the male perspective. They were just this is why I love these discussions, because they have about as much insight into how a guy thinks as we do into how a girl thinks, which is not very much because we aren't. And they were seeing it from the Laura Croft perspective of why did the male writers write this scene? Is it because she's a woman? Because if she was a male character, you wouldn't see a guy creepily touch her hip. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
for the
You-
record, I wouldn't be opposed to, because that would creep me the fuck out.
You can't discount that.
Yeah, obviously not. Yeah,
Well, okay, well, me and Andrew both thought it was obviously because she's a woman, but we didn't think that was necessarily worth writing home about. Because my big point was, which
really. I just want to say for the record before
I'm
you
reading off her
continue-
notes right now when I
Yeah.
say this.
I just want to say for the record, Felicia just drew a smiley face of a guy, and he has a thought bubble that says rape. So-
He also looks real happy.
He looks
Yeah.
very happy.
Well, rape.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
rape.
Yeah.
No,
It's literally an ear-to-ear grin
Yeah.
Yeah.
on this guy.
what I was writing to you is I don't see why. Now I don't know how to put it exactly.
You thought it was I can read it if you want, but
I have it
basically
over here.
basically the gist was it
I
was
should
an
just read it.
overreaction, it's not a big deal, and it's very white privilegey to even bring it up like it is a big deal.
Not necessarily.
He's looking for
Like in
we're
terms
fact-checking. Please
like
bear
in
with
terms
us.
of, you know what, the
just-
other day,
yeah.
I have a perfect example, it's totally going to bail you out. When we were at Dalder's show, and Katie was freaking out about her calculator like it was the worst thing that ever happened. That's what these people are doing. They're saying that depicting something that implies rape in a video game is
it
the
wasn't.
worst thing ever. And that's
is
not
that actually
that's
what
not
they
really
said?
no, it's not really what they're saying, but they're very upset about it, the people who are upset about it. And Travis's feeling was it's not really that important.
Basically, yeah. What I was saying to Andrew earlier is just like you can't pick this as the fight. Otherwise, you cheapen
Yeah,
the whole
I completely
issue.
agree.
This is what I wrote to you. I said Lara Croft is clearly the baddest bitch in gaming. That's good. A villain did what a villain would do, so I'm surprised there's hairs to split over this. The scene I saw was numbingly mundane and she wasn't raped. Is anyone denying that touching her hip has a sexual tone and is about her gender? I hope no one is denying it is. But that's not saying much. Lara is a girl and the bandit is a bad man character.
Right.
He did the creepy thing.
Right.
The scene was even interrupted or ended predictably. That's not much issue. I feel like if we have this argument, then we have to split hairs every time someone subconsciously acknowledges her gender in any social interaction for her in the game. Every time someone calls her miss, should Lara respond with, "Hey, how do you know I identify myself by my gender or even as a woman?" And before you laugh, there are people who really feel that way about
Yeah, I
gender
know.
roles and identity. Every time someone treats her like a chick, should we feel guilty? I agree there are really eye-rolling things we do to female characters, and that shit has to go. But real life is like this sometimes where people treat women not how they treat a man when they deal with them. taking up this particular fight over this thing is the cheapening the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've just from what we've seen of the footage and the way they've been trying to promote this game, the whole point, it seems to be, to explain how Lara becomes who she is, and it seems like a
Right.
big part of that is how do you show her progression from victim to heroine. And so,
Right.
I mean, a scene like this seems to serve that purpose, I would think, because it is kind of the lowest common denominator in terms of exhibiting that. But
This is, yeah, and then this
you
is
know.
kind of what we got into before Travis got here. I don't believe that Lara Croft is a very specific character to use.
Are we going to jump to that right now?
She has a
'Cause
very-
that's a whole subject.
It is a
Okay,
whole
so
subject.
So we're kind of done with that. It's
Well,
or maybe it's part-time. Go.
I don't know. We didn't record it when we talked, so
Go.
I think there's an interesting discussion to be had, and he wasn't here, and,
Yes.
and she didn't participate. I don't think that Lara Croft is... Like, when you pick Lara Croft, you're picking a character with a very specific heritage. And I don't believe, personally, Lara Croft is a character that you should try to use as a female empowerment character in video games. I don't think that you can have that character. It's too late. The die is already cast. Lara Croft is famous for having tits and being the chick who runs around with tits and shoots guns. You can't try to turn her into a positive role model by making her tits smaller and going, no, she struggled now. Like, the effort to me is offensive. You could use the exact same template for a game and remove Lara Croft's name, and I would be totally fine with it.
I don't know. I don't agree with that because there's. I feel like it's like a really gamer point of view because we understand the heritage of these characters.
Right.
But Lara Croft has been around well before.
Are we gonna say Lara or Lara?
Who gives a
all
fuck?
over the place.
It is
Everyone knows who we're talking
Lara.
about.
Yeah.
That Lara.
Lara.
Let's say
That game
Lara.
came out
Lara.
probably when I was 8.
Yeah, like
you were
10 or
8.
11
No,
probably.
it's really young because I remember the first PC thing was like
Actually,
a garbage dump
the first
truck looking
experience
game.
I had playing it was when we were at your uncle's house and we played it on the PC.
That's when I played it. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the first time we played
And then
Sure.
I was probably 11 when like the second or third one came out. And
Yeah,
it's been
that's
a,
the one I
It's
played.
been a long time, and actually they're revamping this to a degree where I can see this is definitely like a different kind of chick. So like, if I had to speculate, if I had a kid right now, I would really check out the game. But if I had a daughter, I could potentially see myself letting her play this game and not being like, oh,
I
she's
don't know
just
about
playing.
that from the trailer.
No, I really
saw.
do. I think. Well, I haven't really watched a whole lot of trailers, but
We just watched it,
Yeah,
and
we
it's
just watched
really
one.
not fit.
And I was
for
kind of
kids.
where you were like before that, and then after seeing it,
because from the look of it now, the
it's-
tone gets more serious. She looks like she has a human body now. Because before they couldn't give her a human body because 3D looked like crap then, but now she looks photorealistic.
But the entire trailer was basically shit happening to her. Bad shit.
It was
happening
basically
to her.
torture
So-
She
porn.
was just getting like impaled here, hit here, falling
Yeah.
here.
The
and
trailer's
then
like
getting
she's-
almost raped. It's just
Yeah.
awful things
falling
happening
off a
to her.
cliff, screaming, pulling a
Yeah.
thing out of her leg. Ah! You hear
And
her
then
do
she
that like
finds a
40
friend,
times.
And that friend gets taken away.
Yeah.
Both women.
Kidnapped.
It's just like bad shit happening to women. That's the game.
This is exactly what I'm saying.
But I
It's
feel
a
like
trigger
she's actually
character.
being brought up to the level of like a lot of male adventure characters.
Right.
'Cause growing up, all of the male characters I had to play were like really good-looking, handsome dudes in the middle of violence. Then you're telling me we have like this
And it's
strong-looking, good-looking woman.
I'll explain
doing
to
the
you how
same
it's different
thing.
because the entire trailer she's screaming bloody murder like a little girl would scream.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't deal with
there's
this and
no-
blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Calling for help.
And
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
really, in my heart, don't
Yeah.
believe that female
They're trying to make it
gamers
really-
will accept this character as an empowered character.
Yeah.
Especially the course they're taking. Now, this is their...
She
I had
literally
this...
says, "I hate tombs."
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like a wink.
can't-
Like, oh, I hate Tombs.
Get it?
Because Tomb Raider? Because she's
Get
been in
it?
so many games called Tomb Raider.
That's ridiculous.
Rating Tombs.
See,
I had a really interesting
what I'm
conversation
thinking of is
with
like
Ian
Girl
about this.
Prince of Persia. Like that's something
Yeah, it ain't
anyone
that.
could get
No, it's
behind.
It ain't that. Because the Prince and Prince of Persia never was in this much pain. Like,
I would like to see the Prince of Persia go. Oh,
yeah.
spikes!
Oh, my heel!
Oh god.
Or every time he missed a jump, oh! I would love to see the male version of this game where it's the
It
same
would
game,
look ridiculous.
but it's a male character
look
who's
ridiculous.
shrilly screaming as much as this.
It doesn't even have to be shrill, just a man screaming and
No, I
falling
want-
every single time and
just a man
always
being
missing.
scared.
No,
which
I-
is something
yeah.
a man
I
doesn't
want
do.
I want
Right.
men to notice how women are portrayed in games. So I want it to be a shrilly scream. Because I'm
Yes,
sure
you know who'd be the equivalent,
I'm sure
actually?
women see that and go,
Would be
"Really?"
Isaac.
Yes.
Isaac would be like
yes.
the
If
equivalent.
all of Dead Space, he was going, "Ooh, necromorphs!" and he literally ran like that, like he did the urgency run, like woo, and he stomped
can't see you.
like he stomped boxes, like he threw his hands up in the air, was like woo, stomp.
No, so I mean, I do agree with Travis that you can re-examine. I mean, I was talking to you about this,
Yeah.
at least because I don't remember who's working on it, but at least from an
Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but I'm saying
You mean the specific
person
writer, yeah.
I don't know who was sitting down one day and was
You
like,
have writer
I'm
empathy.
gonna come up with this character. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
It's the George Lucas voice.
If you come up with, I should have come in with my Gizmo outfit.
Yeah. The perfect example. Imagine if they tried to make a dramatic story about Jar Jar. They reboot Jar Jar.
They kind of
Binks.
did though.
Did
I mean,
they?
I'm not saying it worked.
same-
I'm
Who-
saying in the
it-
second and third
exactly,
they
it
like
didn't.
promoted him to.
Yeah, he was in it for
but it
3
was
minutes.
embarrassing.
But
Oh,
imagine
that's-
if they made a movie called Jar Jar,
Yeah.
and it was like he was stuck on an island, and like he was crawling up the side of the plane, like, "Ooh, Misa Jar Jar Binks climbing up the plane."
He's not gonna sound like that anymore.
And-
if you're rebooting him,
Yeah.
he's gonna
No,
sound
no,
like,
no, because that's what
he's
Laura
gonna sound
sounded
Phil
like.
Lamar.
Yeah, he's like, we suck.
No, no, no.
Hate
No, okay,
islands.
but
Because that's what Lara sounded like. So he steps in a bear trap. Boo!
Lara have a
Massa
voice?
stuck in a bear
Yeah.
trap.
She did.
No, I mean I'm saying
Oh,
prior to
before?
this
Okay.
game.
She never screamed like that. No.
Okay, that's what that.
Maybe when she fell to her death, but usually no sound.
So, but
like
just to
that at
finish
all.
my thought, so yeah, there's that bit of writer empathy where I can think like,
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe they just want to try, and you can kind of judge it on its own merits. But yeah, you're right; it's hard to escape that sort of.
You want
statement,
this
because for so many years it's
Yeah.
just been like, oh, Lara, what did she do in that game? She has 2 guns and 2 guns.
Yeah, exactly. The second Tomb Raider game ends with her like stepping into the shower and then like tisking you because you want to watch. Like, oh, this is what you want to see.
Yeah, I
Do you
literally
think
only ever
women are
played-
going to embrace a character with that history?
Yeah, but
Nah.
I wouldn't.
I don't think it's that linear
Yeah,
either. Like they really could give you
Well,
a game that
who-
wasn't like those games.
Yeah, but they
But-
could
but-
also,
okay, but
but
so
they
you
could
should
also
talk
make
about
it
this-
not Lara
You
Croft.
should talk
That's
about
what
your
I'm
good
saying.
point, which is then
She's
that-
almost got nothing
that
to do
only
with the
serves to
last.
show that like, wow, this was
Right.
kind of
So this is the
embarrassing
conversation I
beforehand.
was having with Ian. You know him, Arrow. He's our number 1 fan, except for Clayton, who's also our number one
one.
fan, and Lucio, who's our number 1 fan. There are 2 Tomb
All
Raiders.
the podcast and the special Travis Storytime
All
album.
the 3
Yes,
fans.
I'm glad.
I have the HD
I'm not a
edition.
fan.
But you had them before they were recorded. Get out.
Just kidding.
There's basically 2 Tomb Raiders this could be, right?
Yeah.
One of them doesn't work because it's Lara Croft, and the other one does work because it's Lara Croft.
But it's
The
not
one
really
that does work
Yeah.
is the Silent Hill of Lara Croft. The entire game is just we're tearing down the image of this character, and the end result of the game is like Spec Ops: The Line, where we go, look, this is what you wanted, isn't it? Why don't
Yeah.
you like it? And I would love that game because it would be ugly. Like, and that scene to me represented what that could be. Of like, shouldn't you be turned on by this scene? You've always wanted to fuck Laura. Why is it weird now? Just because it's rape? Isn't that cool?
That's a good point.
You're still
yeah.
going to see her tits, right? Isn't it what you want? I love that discomfort. But I don't think it's the game they're going to make because you can't make a franchise out of it. The other Tomb Raider is the one where this is like Skyfall, where it's, oh, we're setting up what Lara Croft becomes. We can't have Lara Croft. That's the problem. You really can't. It's too late for this specific character. I would love a new female character could be this game and rock it.
I want it to be
Absolutely
black,
rock
too,
it.
by the way.
But Lara Croft specifically, I don't think it's going to take because I can't take her seriously and I'm a male gamer. Imagine
know,
a female gamer.
I honestly wouldn't care.
You know,
if they
and-
brought back Lara and it was just like a legitimately a fun action title.
Doesn't matter. Stop
I know it
laughing.
doesn't.
Take a
It's-
shot.
Everyone says it.
Because the thing is, like, I've grown up, the technology grew up so
Yeah.
much, so I could see them saying, hey, let's reboot a franchise that people are aware of. Let's give them something that's not retarded. They might actually like a Lara Croft game that's not retarded, and then it would sell, get these great
You know what
reviews
this
and
is?
stuff.
This is a reverse of what happened to Samus in Metroid. Because Samus was like the highly vaunted, this is what we want in a female character.
But
She's
she wasn't
strong,
even a woman.
She's independent. She was a woman.
But
right.
but taking her helmet off at the end
However-
isn't enough to be
however-
like, see? Ugh.
Absolutely, I completely agree. But people ran with it because it was a different era of time. But do you remember Other M, where they started writing dialogue for her, and
no.
she was like,
I didn't play
this,
those games.
play Other
Okay,
They were-
this is what you need to know about Other M. There's
you
a
play
guy
it or you
named
just
Adam.
watched it?
I've watched a lot of
Okay.
it. There's a guy named Adam, and Samus is at his beck and call to the point of she'll commit suicide until Adam says it's okay to use her weapons.
They kind of did that.
I'm not fucking
They
kidding.
kind of did that with Fusion too. You remember?
And the backlash, yes, it was like
it was kind of the same
because
thing.
it was the AI of that or whatever.
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember.
But that wasn't as bad.
No, but
This one,
it's the
the
same idea.
backlash from that game was so incredible because it was like, what the fuck did you do to our strong female character? You turned her into every Japanese protagonist ever. I think this is that in reverse, where we had that, not as bad. Not as bad as that, because that's really bad. But bad enough. And think about it from a female gamer's perspective. How many female protagonists are there?
3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and this is the most famous one, and she's embarrassing. It's like, can you really... I just think the effort to reboot this character is flawed. You know what I mean? It's easy for you and me to just go, oh, whatever. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Because we have Nathan Drake, and we have Solid Snake, and we have Shepard, male Shepard, who's the canonical Shepard according to their advertising.
Shepard is a man.
I mean, we have Master Chief, we have Marcus, Dom, Baird, Cole.
Well, there's a chick in Gears of War now, so you don't have a point.
Right, she was in the third game.
Yeah, you don't have a point now, so...
Oh.
I'm just saying.
That's right.
I'm just saying you're
I'm
dumb.
sorry.
I'm just going to put it up for the bet. My favorite, Heather Graham, Silent Hill 3.
Yeah, I have written down on the list, and I want us all to give it a good, positive try. Think of all of the female protagonists in games that you would consider not an embarrassing character.
I think there are some good... There are some good... I agree with that.
Play this game at home, if you will, gentlemen.
There were some good
ladies.
characters in the KOTOR games.
I didn't play
Bastila.
those.
Protagonist, the character you play as.
First of all, you got to name...
Because that's an important thing. You know what I mean? That's something we take for granted because we don't think about it. That's the privilege. It's totally in the back of our heads.
A lot of Japanese games sometimes have a female character.
Final Fantasy 3 in the States. That was a female character.
There was a couple cool, really awesome puzzle games I played
We
for the
came up
DS.
with Zoe and Rochelle from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, they're
I
awesome.
have Faith from Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her.
No, she was great. I
She
loved
was
that
good.
game.
Yeah.
She parkoured the shit out of everything.
Yeah,
and
she
made me
did.
vomit like 50 times. Any hero that makes me vomit
It's been a while
is
since I
hero.
played that. Wasn't she working for a guy though, or am I wrong?
She was working for a guy, but it wasn't like oh, boss, tell me where to
No,
go.
I know it wasn't like that, but I just
She was-
I was just pointing out.
She just
as a
had a
convention
boss.
that It seems to be, yeah.
Right.
Because did Shepard have a boss?
No.
Yeah.
But Shepard, look at the advertising. Shepard is male. FemShep is an
No,
afterthought
yeah,
that the
of course.
fans made into like a real fleshed out character.
I know there's more. Why can't I
Are there?
think of... Yeah.
That's kind of the point. Are there?
No, there is, but
Let's
I can't.
start thinking.
Obviously, I acknowledge if I can't think of
Well,
them.
no. Let's just pause for a second. There are. You're
It's
right.
an issue.
But let's start thinking of male characters, and just go. Just any male character you can think of.
What
a name
about
of.
characters that we get to be female? Like, there's the Fallout games.
That doesn't count.
Those don't count,
No,
even
that
though they
doesn't
have a
count.
whole like story.
That doesn't
written.
count.
I haven't played them, but I mean, aren't those games the personality sort of primarily written as male? I mean, you guys talked about this on one of your previous podcasts that Shepard is.
I think
you
it's
can be
interesting.
That is a
woman,
separate
but-
discussion that I want to get into in a second, which I call the Rainbow Bridge discussion. And it's going to be great. I'm going to write it down. Where's the pen? Rainbow Bridge.
I don't know why.
Keep that in mind.
Okay.
But just start naming male protagonists. Go.
Max Payne.
Goku.
That's not a video
Yeah,
game
I mean,
character.
I guess technically.
Mario, Sonic,
Terry
Solid Snake,
Bogard.
Tidus, Cloud.
Tidus.
Raz.
Halo.
Here,
Love Rasputin.
let's go off the list. Master Chief, all the characters from Gears of War, because they're all main
That
characters.
cool dude
Eddie
from
Ray.
Grand Theft.
Nico,
Nico.
Alan Wake,
The guy from Grand Theft Auto 3.
Adam Jensen.
Red Dead Redemption. What was
I can't think of John Marston.
What a dude.
The guy from
That's the problem.
Sephiroth.
We get it.
Sephiroth wasn't a playable character. What
Alan
was the guy
Wake.
from L.A. Noir? Cole Phelps.
I like Monkey. I like him.
I don't like him, but I do like the woman.
Trip.
But you get our point. Soap. We could keep going. I mean,
Soap?
Soap from Modern Warfare.
Soap. Yeah. Well,
We're tripping over male protagonists. We can't think of any because there's so many, and we already named 4 times as many women as we did.
Leonardo.
And that's just. Can you think of one more woman? Anyone? One more woman.
Shredder.
you could play as Peach in Mario Brothers too.
That
Yeah, you
doesn't
can't.
count.
No, that does.
That doesn't.
She was a woman.
She is. She's
She
not.
can fly.
She's not the protagonist
Ray
But
Ayanami.
explain to me why, like, the Dragon Age girls don't count. Like, why?
because they're not the protagonist.
How are they?
There's.
The playable character.
I know. I want to count those
We're
characters
limiting
too.
ourselves to just
Yes,
who-
two iconic
means-
Oh, okay,
characters.
gotcha.
The character,
like
the
a
game
Mario
is
or a
for-
Sonic,
gotcha.
exactly, where their
Yeah.
face is
you
the
can't go
brand.
from A to Z in Dragon Age without.
Yeah,
Lara Croft, man.
exactly. Thank you.
There's a lot that have failed.
She could
What
have
was
been.
that girl from that stupid game that came out for the PS3 when it was early on? She had like red hair or something.
Heavenly Sword. That's
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
few
That's what I'm saying.
female
Oh.
characters there are.
And
That
the
I knew who you were talking
The
about.
360
I
had
don't
a launch
own a
title.
PS3.
360.
The 360 had a launch title.
Cameo,
for
the
female-
spirit
Oh,
thing.
God.
No.
I
Oh, wait a
know
minute,
all the female characters
Dark.
because there's
A lot of
10.
people like
Joanna
that.
Dark.
Joanna
That
Dark.
game stunk.
Did it? I thought a lot
The
of people liked it.
Nintendo 64 game was the shit. The
Hey,
Xbox
that's what I was
game
talking
was
about.
just
You
shit.
I
played
thought
this
the
game,
Xbox
right?
game.
It was the
What
girl where I think it was for PS2. It was sort of like a detective action game. And
Still Life.
yeah, I remember she had
Yes.
short
Still Life.
haircut.
I
right?
remember her.
Okay, that might have been cool.
That was a
right?
PC port though, and was unplayable for the non-casual
Well, whatever.
audience because the puzzles were sadistic.
Okay, but she
And not a famous character. I picked that up in the bargain bin because I liked the cover.
the game did well. Wasn't it?
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay,
A lot of
well,
people- a lot of people
I'll
like that
take
game.
it.
I
Yeah,
heard about
a lot of
I'll
people
take
like
it.
that game.
I'll-
She was a
we'll
good-
take anything we can
Ayame?
get. Ayame
I just saw Tenchu
from
over there.
Tenchu. Well, that's split.
I'll
I
count
mean, it is
her.
split.
I'll count her. I'll
I've
take
played
it.
her
Got her
more
own-
than I did Ricky Martin.
Yeah, me
I
too.
did too, yeah.
me too. She
Like
was
those short swords.
so hot.
Well, see, that's the
Damn it.
problem. That's the problem.
And you just ruined it.
Samus.
Dude, they were all hot. We also have to acknowledge
Yeah,
this
let's
too.
have an
What about Fat
ugly
Princess?
character.
The
Anyone
men
play
character
that?
were hot too.
Does anyone play that?
I
Ricky
don't own a
Maru is a
PS3.
badass dude. I'm sure some girls thought he was really hot.
Yeah, but we could
Yeah.
have mediocre male characters. Can we
Yeah, we
have
can.
mediocre
Yeah,
female
Booger Man.
characters?
Sure. I mean,
Booger Man.
Trip is another
Curtis
example
from
of that.
Street Fighter.
When you said Curtis, I thought
Curtis
not
from
a
real
Curtis,
life.
but it's the same thing.
It's the same guy. Could you have the female version of Curtis? Probably not.
Yeah,
You should though.
you did in
What's
Clay
his name
Fighters.
so the
yeah,
audience
Clay
knows
Clay
what we're
Fighters
talking
had
about?
a fat girl.
Curtis beep. I don't know.
No.
No, the character.
From
What's
what?
his name? In Street Fighter.
Just Curtis. Oh no.
His name isn't
That's why
Curtis!
I thought it was Curtis
I
too.
know I know we've made him into Curtis.
That's Curtis. What are you talking
Will
about?
someone be helpful?
That's Curtis, you stupid fuck.
What's wrong with you? Shit. What is his name?
Ricky
Okay,
Maru.
the fat blonde
Rufus.
weeaboo.
Rufus.
Rufus,
'Cause
thank
it
you.
sounds like Curtis.
Where's the female Rufus?
Curtis, Rufus.
Told you she was in Clay Fighters.
There is
Yeah.
one in Fable 2, the Warrior of Might, who's this fat woman with red hair, but that's Peter Molyneux, and he's crazy.
Also,
He's hardly the standard.
also in Diablo, all classes have a female.
that doesn't count.
It
There's
does
10
count.
playable
World of Warcraft.
characters.
It does by
Yeah.
my fan
Doesn't
fictions that
count.
I wrote
'Cause then you could say
obsessively
Pokemon.
afterwards.
Doesn't
You can
thank
choose
It
a
doesn't,
girl in
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
It doesn't count.
It counts just as much as the boy in Pokemon.
It
Let's
doesn't
put it that
count.
way.
Okay, well, let's start thinking of male ones again. I can easily hammer this
Yeah,
point
no,
home.
So yeah, bringing it
No,
back.
we know
yeah,
there's
that's
less
a good
female
point.
characters in games. We know that.
So I want to talk about, you said Shepard, that was originally written as a man. And I call this Rainbow Bridge discussion for a very specific reason. I got into an argument last Christmas or the Christmas before with a friend of the family, Laval, over Idris Elba being cast in Thor as the guy who guards the Rainbow Bridge. He's a black guy.
Yes.
Thor is all white characters. And I
Well, in
argued...
the comic, that character is white. I mean, just,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, he is. I argued that it was good to cast him because I want to see black people take on roles. And his argument was
They can't.
that it was pandering. And ultimately, after 3 hours of talking, we got to the point of it's impossible to tell the difference between pandering and progress, and that's the problem.
No, you can't.
You could
It's true.
see a
Yeah.
progressive casting and go, they're just pandering to that audience. Look at Captain America. It was a Benetton ad. The Asian guy was embarrassing in that movie. But I'm sure the guy who wrote him was like, yeah, we're going to have a fucking Asian guy because we're multicultural. Like, I'm sure he wasn't thinking that. So where is the line? With Shepard and male, with male and female Shepard, it's the exact same character line for line. Just a woman is reading it and a man is reading it. And everyone likes Femme Shep. And I've heard the argument, well, female Shepard wasn't written as a female. But then what does that mean to write a female? Because
Oh, I
if
don't
you
know.
write
I
her
was-
as a
I was
female,
quoting you.
yeah.
I don't- that's-
No,
I don't-
I'm
Because my immediate response
fleshing
would
out
be,
a thought
it doesn't
here.
matter. I mean,
How do
when
you
get
write
down
a
to
female
it.
character that's not
Well, this is something
embarrassing,
Well, this
right?
this is something that I talked with Andrew, and then I kind of brought up in the text messages
Yeah.
with you. There's this fine line where I need people to understand that a character treated Lara Croft differently because she's a woman, but you can't fight every time because the way we put it is when you neutralize characters,
Yeah.
so they're all in the same playing field, then all of a sudden
Then
they're
you
not
have nothing.
Then there's no magic either.
Right.
And then I told you how Han Solo is a complete misogynist, and
Oh, yeah.
I think Batman is a fucking creep.
in Blade Runner. He's a rapist.
But we love
Yeah,
them
he is
for
a
being those
rapist.
men.
Yeah. So what's the line? I mean, how do you write? This is my question, and maybe Felicia will have a thought. You don't have to give the answer because there is no answer. But how do you
There
write?
isn't, I want one from her.
How do you write femship to be quote more female?
And remember, you're speaking for all
Without-
women everywhere.
This
Yeah.
is this is something for the Fallout games
You
too.
have a
know?
vagina, so you are representing
So
all
show
the
it.
vaginas that have ever existed. So don't let them down. Go.
I
That includes hermaphrodites.
don't know. I don't think it's actually wrong for us to take the male, whatever was written for the male. I really don't think that's anything wrong because you can still romance a male in Mass Effect, and that's unique, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's the problem? Honestly,
I don't
it's
think there
not
is
like
one.
there's
I
like
was- like I
really
said-
It sounds like it's just a fight that keeps coming up with people. They want to
doesn't
feel
matter.
like that a
I
woman
think-
was.
like
Okay, so you-
female shepherd is believable as a female, like a strong woman.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
I
this-
would assume so. I've
And
never
the
played
same
game,
thing
but-
comes up. Let's go to movies for a second. Have you seen the movie Salt? Salt
Yes,
had
I've seen
Angelina
that
Jolie.
Fucking movie.
Well, that movie was written.
Why did you remind me that I've seen that film? God damn.
I'm going to tell you why. That movie was written with Salt as a male character, and they cast a woman and just went with it. So is that the solution then? We just write characters, and then at the end of the process, decide gender, and that's how we
No.
get it.
Not necessarily.
I mean, I think,
Coverage-wise.
I think it's
it
really.
doesn't have to be black or white.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it can. It can sometimes be hand in hand. I mean, you can write a character however you want. Like talking about Thor, like I love Idris Elba, so
I do too. I love that he
love
was
watching-
cast.
Yeah, me too. So I mean,
I want to
and
see
I knew-
Stringer
and
Bell guarding the Rainbow
Yeah,
Bridge.
and, I
It
mean,
was-
and I enjoyed him knowing that character is white in the comic. I mean, people.
didn't
I haven't
matter.
heard anyone raise a stink about Sam Jackson as Nick Fury.
That's the
And,
funny thing is Laval, who is a black guy, that was his whole stance, and I loved the argument because he said Idris Elba's character is supposed to be white. By making him black, you're ruining the continuity of the character, and he doesn't like Sam Jackson, Nick Fury either.
Really?
And I'm like, you're the only person I've ever heard say that. Could we please argue about this for 2 more
I mean,
hours?
so that's the thing. I think there are
He's
times
black
when
in the
it really
comics now.
doesn't matter, and I mean, you can just do that. I think there are other times where
Because
where
that's,
it
that's
clearly
what I call the
matters.
Sam
Like,
Jackson effect.
I hate to use this as my go-to, but obviously, like The Wire, like clearly characters in that show have to be black or white. Or,
Absolutely.
because you can't.
And that does have an
and
effect.
that's legitimate. Yeah, like
If
it has
Omar
everything
was
to do-
white or Stringer Bell was white, you'd go, okay.
or if Omar was straight, it would be a completely
Yes.
different
Yeah.
character.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And I mean, yeah. So sometimes, yeah, there are very specific things that you need to keep in mind when you're writing a character, and I mean, it just happens to be that you use maybe a stereotype or whatever, but it'll work when it's done well, and so. I think it's just people are going to keep complaining.
Well, I mean, the
Al
real-
Sharpton is going to demand that everyone kiss his ass all the time.
I hate Al Sharpton.
And I think that you just got
I
to
fucking hate him.
it's easy to spot when I mean maybe not easy, but I think if you're paying attention, you can tell when it's pandering and when it's just.
I don't know if you can,
either
though.
way.
'Cause
Really?
because you can be suspicious and be wrong. And you can be not suspicious and be wrong.
I feel like this is pandering to me. 90210 came out in like the early 90s.
Yes.
It's like all white people, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
The kid.
It's a
who-
glorious white lifestyle.
Yeah, the kid.
Yeah,
who-
it was a normal school, Lucio.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
obviously.
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by pandering, because
Yeah.
that's
So,
how
wait,
our
wait,
lives
so
were.
flash forward, what is it, like 20 years later when they redid the show? And
Yeah.
the kid who actually plays, why can't I remember his name? He's from The Wire. Everyone's from The Wire now.
All the bullies in the school.
Which
were black.
one? There were
he was
40
the
people
one who's
in the
basically
wire.
little Omar. I
Oh,
can't
Michael from The
Michael.
Wire, yeah.
The guy who plays Michael is now in the new 90210. And
Playing
when I saw
Michael?
him on the no, he's just the black one. And
That
when I
would
saw
be
him
great.
on a poster, I thought pandering. Because
Yeah.
why would you put a black guy in a show about 90210?
Right.
Other than like
However-
it's 2012 and like maybe we should just extend our demographic by there's like 6, so like what 12%.
I
Yeah.
totally get that, and that's totally where Laval was coming from too. And that attitude means no black people in
But no, but
television
so
shows.
so
Right.
So they can do that. That's fine. And I'm not even saying that pandering is necessarily a problem. I'm just saying you can spot it, and then
It's
You
kind
can
of a
decide for
problem
your-
though because it alienates.
I feel like you
people.
can. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm saying you can decide for yourself if you feel like you want to be really upset about it or go with it, and then
Right.
black people will start getting more roles as
Right.
people get less sensitive.
It's a really rough issue because Hollywood moves in a really slow way, and every time we keep thinking that they're the ones who are in control of it, there's this opposite end where you have to understand that the demographics that they play to, it has to go hand in hand with Hollywood doesn't like taking risks because they're optimized at all moments to get as many ratings as possible.
Yeah, they
I mean,
need
it's
the
a business. It's
lowest
not-
common. They need
Yeah.
the
So-
average. They need to reach
So
as
there's
many
this thing that they
idiots.
don't want to hire an Asian guy for a show because it just doesn't work as
Because there's
well.
10 Asians.
They're
as
not.
opposed to
There's
50
already
billion
5
white
working
people.
Asians in Hollywood.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're not. You know, the media's portrayed ideal of beauty, but then on the other hand, they are portraying the ideals of beauty. So, but then you also have these democrats that democrats
Oh my God.
demographics who don't care to see
Socialists,
these
I
things.
think you meant to
Like, there's
say.
not going to be like a whole lot of black Americans who want to watch 90210 anyways, and the producers know that. They know 90210 is not a show for black guys and black girls, so they don't even bother to cast it. But they end up putting one in for all the ones that live in the suburbs.
Right.
So that's why there's one.
That's why I
and
said. That's my point.
right.
That's why I said the 12%.
That's the
like, it's
sad.
I read
particular
It's the sad
demographic.
reality. You know.
I read a great article from a black science fiction writer whose name I can't remember and it fucking kills me. But I loved his whole perspective on it, which was everyone who practices institutionalized racism, it's not their fault because they were taught by the institution to be racist in this way, to the point where they don't even realize they're doing it, and they can't self-correct because they have no ability to. And he said the solution
that's a
to the
little
problem...
excusatory.
No. He's saying this as a guy who's been discriminated against his whole life. He said, I don't hold it personally against any of these people. The way we make it go away is by pushing up the demographic to 30%.
Yeah.
In science fiction writing, if
Yeah.
30% of writers were black, people would stop thinking about their blackness. If
Well, yeah.
30% of anything was just that, everyone would fucking forget. You know? And it was a much longer article that cited all of this intentional and unintentional racism he faced. It's a fucking great read. Was retweeted by William Gibson, who I'm sure no one follows. That's my,
I will now.
he's just my hero.
Congratulations, William Gibson. You've just earned
He's
a
just my hero.
follower.
Yeah.
The time is 10:33. NPR. No, I don't know.
I don't give a shit. Whatever.
No, yeah, I mean, so, yeah, and relating that to games, you guys actually talked about race, I remember,
Yes,
in
we
one
did.
of them, and I mean, you guys brought up the article, I don't remember, I either came across it independently or because of you, the Black Cool.
Oh, yeah,
that was
yeah.
because of Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
I
the
found
one that was
saw it,
posted in a
yeah.
couple places.
And so, I mean, yeah, as far
I
as
really like that one.
women and black people, I think, unfortunately, a part of inserting, that new perspective is a bit of pandering. You do just kind of have to let's just throw it in.
You have to
there.
Yeah.
pander to the
You
point
do
it's
have
no
to-
longer pandering.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Which
you
is-
just
which
have to
makes
You
kind
just
of-
have to over pander.
Which makes Disney Channel, the kids channel, the most pandering, but the most
Yes.
forward-moving
Kinda, yeah.
channel on
Yeah.
TV.
No way.
Because they know, no, I need an Asian girl, a black
Yeah.
girl, a black boy,
Yeah.
and then the rest are white. Like, it's a rule for every, and they have a new show
But they
every
still
year.
have only
Yeah.
one of each. They got 1 million whites and
No,
one
no,
black.
there's
one
a
Arabic.
minimum of 2 blacks on every show now.
Okay.
I swear to
actually,
God.
that's true.
Yeah.
Usually one's a boy and
What's
one's a
good?
girl.
I
One's
like
a boy,
that.
one's a girl.
Yeah.
It's true.
I like that. I do.
Yeah.
But it's something.
You know,
It's something.
I've said this a million times before, and I'll say it again. When they decided to make another fucking Splinter Cell game, when Sam Fisher is 57, almost 60 years old. You want to talk about James Bond being too old in Skyfall? 60 is too old to be a fucking spy in the Middle East, fucking climbing on walls and shit. You're too old. That was the perfect
Okay.
time to put in a new fucking Sam Fisher. And that Sam Fisher should have been a woman
Or a black guy.
and should have been black. Because it would have been finally one character that's both, not one or the other. Besides Rochelle.
You guys say Rochelle.
Yeah. The other one.
Well, no, speaking to characters that do work, I just finished playing Spec Ops The Line, and I really liked, not Lugo, the other one.
You don't want to say the black one, do you?
No, I really can't
I wanna
remember.
say
I really
Adams.
spaced
His name's
Adams.
Adams,
Yeah,
yeah.
I really liked Adams.
The black one.
because I immediately noticed he was black in a squad of 3
Of
guys.
course
And
he
he's
did.
the one black one. But after
Racist.
that, I stopped noticing because they're just all soldiers and they're all there. And I mean, he wasn't the black one anymore. I mean, really, if you're gonna get into their roles, he was kind of the secondary rationale.
Because he
for it.
wasn't
I
like
was
the
gonna say
LL
he had,
Cool J character. He
yeah,
wasn't like,
but I'm saying-
yo, dog, don't shoot out
But
those
I'm saying,
windows.
so I'm saying I really liked that. I mean, and I don't think
He
that
had
there-
his head screwed on the tightest.
Like,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, and the thing is, you can also have what are their names? I don't like.
Lugo?
I don't like Gears of No, I don't like
Lugo,
Gears of
Walker,
War.
and
Oh,
Marcus, Dom,
Coltrane.
Baird, and
Like,
Coltrane.
You can have those guys too, and I mean that's okay.
That game is okay because it's not
Coltrane is
trying
a-
to be anything.
like I get that. That's
Yeah, that
just
game
like,
is just kind of for
oh man, let's
kids.
go, man.
Yeah, I don't mind Terry Tate. It's fine.
Yeah,
we
but-
can
in
have
a
one.
weird way, he's okay. In
Yeah.
a weird way, I,
I
don't
mean,
know
it's
why
kinda,
either. When I
John,
play this,
because
it's fun.
because especially in the third game, he's so insistent. Like it's not like, hey, isn't it funny? He's the black like the guy who's voicing the character is just so into it. It's like,
So-
okay, I can take it.
I feel
So
like Cole
he
is.
sounds like he's having fun, so
Yeah,
I'll have fun
Coltrane
too.
is
So
not
just to-
trying to be cool. That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
he's cool.
Exactly. He's just
Coltrane is
being a
just like,
goofball.
woo!
And
yeah.
so just to finish my point, like, yeah, you could argue that, like, one is pandering and the other is more like just insert a black guy but make him... But I'm saying the fact that they have both and they both exist within, like, games, I like that because that's the full spectrum. 'Cause,
Sure.
Like, you know, like, Travis and I work in... I don't know what you want to call it, customer service, I guess we have people. And so we see the full spectrum of black people. We get black people who come in and they're like, oh, how are you doing today? Like, you know, they got a
Yeah.
nice watch and see, like, how's it going? And then we get the guys who come in like, hey, yo, you guys fucking open? Can I get some, like, serve, you know? And I mean, they both exist.
Yeah, we see
So to act like
everything.
there's just one, like, you know, to have both. I mean, you can get mad about one if you want, but the fact that they're both there, at least it's...
If we had both, no one would care about one. Like
Yeah,
they
so
would,
that's-
it would
that's
just
what-
be a joke instead of offensive. It would just be like, oh, look, this idiot written character. It wouldn't be like, really, is this the only character we're ever gonna get? If there
Yeah.
were 10 different black archetypes, we wouldn't be hung up on one.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
That's true.
10 of any archetype,
So I'm
everyone
saying,
lets it
yeah,
go.
Just keep pandering and do different ones. I want a gay black character and a black woman. I would like to.
I want more gay
They're not
characters
Pokemon,
in
guys.
general.
God, shut up.
They're not like
You're Pokemon.
they're not like water types.
Be fucking
fire
gay.
types.
I don't care.
No, we don't want
Do
that.
it.
That's. I think we even have that as a topic. The gays.
Well, you proposed that.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
Yeah, gays.
Oh, it's me.
You said
sorry.
we need to talk about the gays, and I wrote it down.
Actually,
so
yeah,
now we're
just real
talking
quick, how
about
many
it.
gay characters in video games? Let's just kind of.
That's a great question.
Because I don't know.
Protagonists
No,
or
there's
characters?
characters.
Because there's no protagonists.
Japanese
The only one I
games
can
are-
think of is Gay Tony. I never even played that game just because.
Yeah,
I
Ballad
only
of Gay
know him.
Tony, the Grand Theft Auto 4
Yeah.
expansion.
But I'm saying how
He
many
is
other-
gay.
There's a gay character in Mass Effect, isn't there?
There's several. There's gay characters in Dragon Age.
Caden swings by. In Mass Effect 3, Cortez, the shuttle driver, he's gay.
Okay.
I really like how they
Actually, I
did
think, wasn't
Cortez
Joanna
too.
Dark a lesbian or something at some point?
Who?
Joanna Dark.
No.
There was something with two girls that was.
No, you're
like
thinking of a much older
But it's
game.
another one.
You're thinking of a PlayStation game that I wish I remember the name of. I want to say Fear is in the name somewhere.
I can't remember. Yeah.
But you're thinking of, and that was the entire hook of that game, is look at these two lesbians who are doing combat together. That's exactly the kind of female fucking character that's embarrassing.
Oh,
Yeah.
those two characters from that. They made two games. They
Yes.
both wear a mask.
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
It's a shooter.
But all the advertisements
They're
were like
gay.
the girls holding each other. It's like, they're gonna fuck
Yeah.
after they kill everyone. It's like, oh, wow.
That's like how Tattoo got famous.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Tattoo, but 10 years
They
earlier.
weren't even lesbians.
But let's get back on the topic.
I know.
Gay characters. Now, would you count the characters in Dragon Age 2 that can swing gay as gay characters?
I
Because
think-
you
I
can
would.
have
Yeah,
a gay relationship
would.
with Anders, but I didn't believe it.
Well, here's the thing: are the characters gay
No.
They
or
weren't.
are they bi?
They want to have
The
a
game-
man-on-man romance.
The game made a
exclusively.
point of making
Like if
all.
you make a female character as a guy, you'd be like, oh.
The
whatever.
game specifically made all romance interests romanceable by both genders, so it was obviously a
So-
statement. So I don't know if we can count them.
I wouldn't. Count
I don't think
that.
making them
I really
bisexual
don't
cheapens
count
their
that.
homosexuality.
I'm not saying it cheapens it, but I'm saying
It
I
does.
wouldn't
That's
count
what we're
that.
saying.
I
No, but I'm
think-
saying
I
within the
think-
com- I'm
I
saying
agree
unless
with
they
you with
explicit-
Anders
unless they
specifically.
explicitly
I'm saying if
say-
the elf
Yeah.
from Dragon Age wants to swing gay with me completely, like I had those conversations with him.
Yeah.
He wanted to be my boyfriend.
Right, but he'll fuck girls too, so he's bi.
No, I'm saying
I
does
get
he
he's
explicitly-
bi,
does
but
he
he,
explicitly
this
state
is
it?
a homosexual thing that makes him gay too.
No, makes him
Wait,
bi.
no.
Yeah, he's bi.
But for as far as the protagonist is concerned, is you're going to move forward in a homosexual relationship. So why can't this be like it is what it is? I get that in another scenario they could be
Because
with a
you
woman.
could bring him to the bar with Isabella and fuck a girl with him. So that makes it bi.
Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Saucy.
and you can get what's her name, the redheaded girl, in on it too. As long as you harden both of them, you could have a fucking foursome in that game.
Yeah, that's more bi.
Rocking out with your cock out.
I still
not
think
even
if you have a character who's going to have a homosexual relationship, we should really count that towards this being a
I'd
homosexual
give it, I'd give it
scenario.
half a point.
I think
because
it's
I
not
think
worth it.
Half a
I would
point.
give it half a point because think
For the
about,
sake
think about
of
the
argument.
average gamer who's playing, and he doesn't even have to confront that. Like, I would count it as a full point if it was like a straight
it's
gamer
forced
who's
upon
like,
you.
I have to be gay, and like he has no choice. He has to deal with.
Or
the fact
you
that this
have to
character-
interact
No, no,
with a
okay,
character
okay.
that's definitely
Yeah,
gay.
there's
I
no-
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
This
That's
is
what I'm
this is what I was
saying,
going to
so-
say.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand that we feel like it should be more optimal to be confronting characters who are gay through and through. But I'm saying if I were to sit here and tell you that I'm bisexual, but I've been dating Lucio for the last 3 years, and we in the back of our heads we're like, but Travis is bi, I'd be really offended we were cheapening my experience lifestyle-wise as a homosexual. That's all I'm
But
saying.
you
That's where
wouldn't
I'm
consider
coming from.
yourself a homosexual.
I
You
think I just
consider
got hit
yourself
on.
bisexual. I agree with you.
It doesn't matter. The
It does
point
matter.
is-
No. In terms of Zevran, what you're
No,
saying.
I take your point.
Hang on.
Get it.
No, I take
We're
your
talking
point.
about reality, where I am a gay person.
Because the fact of the matter is that my mom is in that exact situation.
Right.
She's technically bisexual, but,
But
no
she's-
one ever thinks that because she's
been
been
in
with
a
the same
lesbian
woman for the last
relationship
12
forever.
Years.
Yeah.
And so no one ever thinks like, oh, but she's bi. I mean,
It's not what matters.
you can remember. Yeah. So I would say that's fair.
In
I'm
terms
talking
of what
about-
Lucio is saying, though, and this is the
I'm talking about, like,
clarification we
pushing
need
it-
to make,
pushing it a
No,
little
no,
you
bit.
have to
Yeah.
address gayness.
No, I get it. But I feel like
and
with some of these characters,
Zevran
you do.
counts, because when you're friendly with him, he will make a pass at you if you're male, regardless of whether you express any interest.
Yeah.
So that counts.
Zevran
Even
is
though
for
he'll
sure.
fuck a chick too, he
But
counts.
he makes it certain that he wants to be with you. It's not
and
like
because there are so few of both in games, we might as well count them both, because if you're going to say LGBT, then guess what? We get to group
Yeah,
them up
that's-
when we're talking.
it's kind of what I'm saying.
Maybe when we have the luxury...
Does poison count? What is poison?
Poison's a tranny.
Yeah. So I don't.
That doesn't count as either.
Poison
I was
has a
just saying,
dick.
does she count as like
That's a
representative
separate
of
bag.
a demographic?
Poison has a dick.
Yeah, Poison is
so
a
does
man.
Voldo, sort of somewhere.
Birdo?
Voldo.
No, Voldo has a
Voldo?
vagina.
Does
Voldo.
I don't
Voldo's
know.
a woman.
It doesn't matter.
He's got a pussy.
The point is, until we
I think it
have
should just be a woman.
the luxury of a wealth of gays and bis, so where we can oh, I don't even want to talk about the bis, we're gonna have to pile them into the same pile.
Yeah.
So, Dragon
Bottom line is
Age
I just like to see more
and
of
Mass
everything,
Effect are the only
yeah,
two games I can
obviously
think of.
agree with that.
Yeah,
And I would say I'd like to see more of it outside of the realm of like pick your character.
I would
'Cause
love.
that seems to be the only one where there's like that clear freedom where you can have a black.
Yeah, they wanna
protagonist
make it
in
your
Mass
story.
Effect, or you
But
can have a black
even that
character.
feels like they're chickening out. I would
No,
love to
that's
see
what
a character
that's
that
what I
you
was just
can't
saying.
choose.
So that's what I'm saying. I'd like to
Yeah.
see more.
We
where
all
you
want
can't.
that,
That's what
but
I was saying.
I
We
want
all
to see.
that ideal.
I want to
Yeah.
see Diego, who's in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and you gotta play as him because he's
Oh,
the
God.
spec ops soldier that this game is
Yes.
about.
Yes, he is.
And he is going to remind you.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And alternatively, I want to see fucking
You know-
Fuentes,
you
the
know-
other guy who doesn't remind you all the time. He's gay,
You
but
know,
whatever. It
what
doesn't
I
matter.
said-
They're both
I don't know,
Hispanic.
because that's the name I
Why are-
pulled out.
Wow.
Why can't be they named Diesel and
You know, when I said I wanted to talk
Because-
about the gays, I really didn't want to talk about the gays
I do.
because I hate them and I don't want
Oh.
to actually get into this.
Oh boy, this got weird.
This is really. Oh
Lucio
no.
is stroking
Lucio,
Travis's crotch.
this has never happened
Oh.
before.
It's getting creepy. It's getting familiar, I should say.
But Lucio, this is so
Yes. I guess
strange.
to bring this all full circle,
It's
we can all
new.
agree that Tomb Raider's got a lot to fight against in terms of its.
It's
previous- it
insurmountable odds, in my personal opinion.
I guess.
But I think it's a good step, if nothing else.
If Laura
Like, I
doesn't-
would agree with Travis again that it's at least.
If
you know,
Laura
it can
doesn't
be- it's
die on the
eligible.
island, it will have
I
all
literally-
been
She died. It's a
for
prequel,
nothing.
isn't it? Or is it a reboot?
I don't know.
It's a reboot.
It's a
They're
reboot,
rebooting
so-
Hitler.
Okay.
That's fine.
God damn it.
I literally saw it as like
The audience doesn't even know what that means.
I know.
I love it.
I really saw it as like a female Prince of Persia, which I was like totally behind. I was like, let Lara be
I
this
would
badass
love
babe.
that, but it
I'm
ain't
fine with
what
her
it is.
looking good and being badass because I play characters like this all the time as boys. As a little boy, I always had these characters to look up, whether it was anime, Japanese games, or American
Right.
comic books. They were always astoundingly amazing. You know, you're always comparing yourself to this thing. So like, I wouldn't mind it if the Lara Croft game was like really like
And
her
La-
being awesome. That's not but it might not turn out that way
and
at all.
Lara
yeah.
Croft in the trailer displays traits that I would not mind at all seeing on a female protagonist. Like, she's pulling a bowstring on a deer, and she's like, "Ooh, sorry, deer,"
yeah.
before she kills it. But because it's Lara Croft, it's trumpeting, this is what male gamers think about female protagonists.
And that is unfortunate.
And
You know,
because you've made this choice, you are trapped in this
That's
cycle.
true, but I really feel like the producers in this case probably thought they were making her
They're
real.
trying really fucking hard.
I
but
think
it's
they thought they were making her real by making her vulnerable.
I completely agree.
But it wouldn't be so strange if male characters were vulnerable more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they were
I would
if that
agree.
was
They
a
are.
regular,
That's a good point.
if they were
That's a
regularly
good point.
scared out in like if Far Cry was about a scared guy in the jungle, then Lara Croft's game would be like, oh, neat.
Well, let's-
but since she's not being strong, we're like, why is she being a little girl?
Let's talk about the direct translation, which is Nathan Drake in Uncharted. He's never afraid. He's killed 1 million people and felt blasé about it the whole way. I've
And he
never
looks
heard him
good doing
scream.
it.
He's always got zingers after he murders people.
Like,
Uncharted.
bam,
I've
you're
never
dead.
This is Uncharted. This is female, or this is male
I was
Lara
actually just
Croft.
thinking
Put
that
a
some of
bump
my
This
through
is
favorite-
what we
your
think
nose.
guys are.
No, but I was thinking some of my favorite male protagonists have been vulnerable. Like, I was thinking about Silent Hill 2.
Cloud
Where
Strife.
the character
yes.
is clearly horrified.
Yeah.
And, has no idea what to
But,
do.
but he's also numb.
We
like,
gotta get
like
away
he's on
from
Vicodin,
Silent Hill 2,
too.
because
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
talk about it and Travis is gonna slap me.
Yeah.
Well, no, we can stop there. I'm just saying.
No, we're
that-
not gonna talk
I'm
about
saying
Silent
that
Hill.
it's rare, but it clearly works.
We need to
so
talk about the
I
games
guess
we
I'm
played
agreeing that I would
recently.
like to see
It's
more.
rare, yeah.
I would like to see more.
It's the reverse of you rarely see a female character that's not. There's two types of female
Isaac was very
characters.
vulnerable. He was
There's
scared.
was he?
Yeah, he was really scared.
You could
Yeah.
tell. You can see it every time he froze time.
Yeah. Yeah, he felt really vulnerable when he froze that enemy in midair and cut his legs
If
off
you take
with a
the
fucking
CD
threshing gun.
and spin it backwards, you can hear him saying, "Oh no!"
Yeah. Remember when he opened that box? It felt really vulnerable.
He was really stomping on his own fears, trying to get rid of
Yeah,
them.
it felt like a metaphor.
It was a metaphor for a man desperately seeking control
Yeah.
and identity.
But you see two kind of women characters. You see the girl character who
In a
fucking
world.
panics constantly, and you see the
Where-
girl character who's lightning from Final Fantasy 13. Flat.
Oh, then Zash, the black guy,
Unchallenging.
was very vulnerable then.
Yeah.
He was black and
Yeah.
vulnerable. Thank you,
Whoa,
Final Fantasy
I got
13.
him.
You did a great service
Yeah, thank you.
to society.
Thank you for not bothering to write
Remember how
even one
vulnerable
character.
he
They've
was?
encouraged the next
He was so
generation of
bad at
men who will
jumping.
It's the
appear
next
on,
episode.
To Catch a Predator.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what they've done.
I'm getting depressed. Can we move on?
Let's move on.
Yeah, what do we got next?
You wanted to talk about Enslaved. Both
You
of
should do the
did.
Wii before that.
Oh, I want to talk
Wii?
about the Wii real quick. The Wii U.
The Wii
It's
U.
got a
What's-
flaw.
What's to talk about?
It's got a
How
flaw.
happy he is.
No, I know. I already know about this.
You do, but
That-
he doesn't, and I want to talk about it
He
because
doesn't
it
know
will
about it?
annoy
It
him.
was on
So
Facebook.
shut up.
Okay.
The Wii U has a flaw.
Yeah, tell me about the flaw.
You know how on Xbox...
What could be wrong with it?
I'm going to tell you.
Oh.
You know how on Xbox sometimes you have to download system updates? Or like you'll play a new game and you got to download a system update.
Yeah,
to
I
play
do
it
that
online?
sometimes.
The Wii U has to do that 50 fucking times when you buy it. And if you interrupt one of their updates, some of which last several hours, the system is broken.
But Brian, I have time on my hands.
Yeah, I know, Nintendo doesn't care about that.
Oh.
Now I know what you're thinking.
Wait, you're telling me it will break?
Nintendo, that's a console for children. You're right. Thank you,
See,
Nintendo.
You're forgetting
Why another
Nintendo's key demographic. I want to go on record as just saying, you have to remember, Nintendo publishes for families. That means that at any given point, children are going to be playing with their parents.
No.
Have you seen Nintendo commercials, Brian?
They're
because the indication is that these children are playing with their whole family. That's what Wii's about.
Oh,
That's
really?
what it's for.
I thought
It's for
Nintendo's
Wii, not
key
you.
demographic was people who don't understand technology, and that's why this has this flop flaw. It's
Listen.
children and old people.
Ladies and
Oh, what did
gentlemen.
I do? I broke it.
Ladies and gentlemen, what my client is trying to
You're in
say.
the no flip zone.
Yeah. So I
No,
just
that's-
wanted you to know, anyone who has a
that's
Wii
bad.
U and you're updating something, don't interrupt it. Don't interrupt. Don't even go back to the menu to try to do something else, or it's bricked.
I'm gonna be that guy.
Next topic.
I'm gonna be that
What
guy and just
guy?
say that's what you get for buying the Wii U.
I'm gonna be that guy too.
Yeah.
But I don't have a family and I'm a cynic.
Oh.
So I don't know how much
I just
value
feel
we
like
have
people
in
should
it.
see things for what they are.
I wanna
The
move
Wii U
on to
looked
the
really
next-
I will buy a
stupid.
Wii U when it is like $100.
That's a good plan.
And then what will you play on it? Like,
Do you
why?
know-
Well, by then I'll.
But by
there'll be
then
more
you'll
games
have
and maybe I
days
can
worth of updates that will brick the system.
Hopefully it'll come with
Be
them.
terrifying.
You'll just play
That would be
Mario
great if
again.
all of the
That's
Wii
all that's gonna
U's
happen.
Are just packaged with, like, they're just all packaged down. Those are all the Wii's that will ever be.
Oh, yeah. We can't fix them. We made the full run. It's collector's
You'll update
editions.
from like version 1.3
Yeah.
to like
We're working on the next
11.2.
system now. I don't know what to tell you.
Pikmin better be really good if you're gonna buy the Wii.
I want to talk about the
No,
next.
I don't know. I'm saying if I were to ever consider it, it would be. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as like anti Nintendo.
We are.
I know and I understand clearly.
Right,
No,
you're a
I-
guest.
I mean, for me, it's
Silence,
just-
guest.
Like we exist in a world where we just talked about games are going to be worth playing when they have more black females and gays. Like these are the things that
No,
we want.
black gay females.
Yeah, okay.
Those
Like,
two.
these are the things that are now compelling and intriguing and worth our time.
They've always been compelling.
So
and
when I
intriguing.
think about the Wii U, I
Love
think
them.
about a system that's going to give me nothing I will ever interest me ever again.
Right,
Because
right.
what I'm waiting for are those games.
We are talking
that's fair,
to 22 to 24-year-olds.
And that is what I'm saying. Like,
that's
the
our
difference is,
demographic.
like, I'm just the full spectrum because I like games that are really good and really compelling, and I also just like.
Wow,
games
that's
that
a
lot of people
stunning statement.
don't. No, but I'm saying I
Really
also
going
like
out
games
on a
that-
limb. I like
I'm
games
saying-
that are good.
And I'm saying I like games that a lot of people don't like. I'm just like I liked the Wii. I enjoyed everything. I
Fair
played.
enough.
I liked Metroid Prime 3, which
I hated the
I know a lot
Metroid
of people really
games.
hated it.
I loved
I-
Metroid Prime 1.
I didn't like any of
I'm
them.
with
I
you
really
there.
liked
I
two.
tried playing them. I
We're-
hated
but-
them all.
We're brothers in this. We're blood brothers in
And
this.
I really liked 2 and 3, but like that's what I'm saying. I just like a wider spectrum. I would say like I like the stuff that gives me a different level of satisfaction. I like the other stuff that's just.
I
sort of-
want to
don't
be
have
like
to-
that. I really do.
You
but
don't
what-
have to be. I mean,
no,
that's
no,
the
no.
thing, like,
I'm saying I'm
No, it's
I'm
beautiful.
okay
Be
with
hateful.
it. No.
Well, I'm saying don't want to be that.
No,
'cause then
I'm-
you'll just spend money.
I'm a very
Yeah, then you'll
That's
hate it.
stupid.
I'm a very open
There's
person.
a reason I'm
Are
saying
you?
the only reason
Yes,
I pay
all
for
I'm
Wii U
saying
was
is that at
$100.
this
Sexually?
point, I've learned that I get bored. So I know where all the boredom,
Another amazing statement.
where all the boredom comes
I get
from.
bored.
I get bored.
I like good things, but I get bored.
No.
Things. Some
I'm ju-
things are boring.
I'm saying I don't get
I
bored.
eat food and then I'll sleep.
That's not what I was like, okay?
That is what you're like.
so like case in point. If,
No, what I'm saying is I'd like to play the Wii, but I know I'll end up being bored.
And that's what I'm saying. Like
versus the time that I have
I'm
in
the
a
only one
day.
who would ever possibly be interested in it. If I bought one and like let's say there did happen to be one game that maybe other people enjoyed, like I'd have it and that's fine.
If you
Like,
buy
we
a
could all play
system
it.
for
Like,
I would
one
love to
game,
play it.
I'm not gonna pay like out the ass for it. That's the thing.
I'm going to be very disappointed. That's all I'll say.
That's why I'm saying I'm not paying for it now because as of right now there is only like one game.
Is
that
there?
I think what like Mario Brothers U. Is there anything
There's
else?
the Mario game.
Who would play a Mario Brothers game? There's
Who
been
would?
55 fucking Mario Brothers games.
They just make me
We've
sad now.
tackled the topic of the Mario Brothers. There's nothing more to tell
It's
us.
to me, it's still enjoyable. I'm not saying.
Okay,
I'm not
to
saying
each
it's
his
like.
own.
I'm not saying it's like changing like the whole the game experience or
Right.
anything like that.
No,
And
it
some
won't.
people-
Don't
no,
worry.
And some people think it does. I mean, that's okay,
true, that's true.
Narratively, not
I
so
don't agree
much.
with that. But like, I still enjoy it and have fun.
But they
and
see
and it's
it-
very casual. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
It is. It's just
I
really
I think
casual.
people
Sure.
that are fans of the Nintendo still see the new Mario games almost like haikus. Like they don't evolve, but like they're. That's how I see it. Like they're
Yeah.
simple, but like what you said, they still get better somehow, or
Yeah,
they're still
maybe.
good. I don't know.
Like I enjoy them.
I'm just saying a game can stay simple and then still compel a lot of gamers. Because
Oh no,
they,
it can.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
and
don't
I respect
always
that.
demand
I
it.
respect
That's
that.
the
It's
thing.
just that when last time I tried to play a Mario game, and which was a really terrible revelation because I grew up.
Which one did you try?
Doesn't matter.
It was
If I
little bit.
if I
No, no,
turn
no,
on a
no.
Mario game and I ever jump on a
It
thing
was-
with a shell,
no, it was the
you've
Game Boy
wasted my
one,
time.
and the Game Boy one got the
There's
Game Boy
like 16
DS.
Game Boys. Just so you know.
No, the DS one. And it got really high reviews.
I wish faces translated to this podcast.
I'll try to
We've
make
been
the sound-
making-
I'll try to make the sound of my.
We've been making idiot faces the whole time.
No, the DS one had really high reviews, and it was like a really faithful adaptation to the old games.
No, I didn't like that one.
Really?
I didn't understand why we got so many good. Because it was.
You're
just-
so
you literally-
divisive.
No, I'm just saying like
You're a rebel.
You literally muscle your way through the levels, and it was.
Like
Yeah.
Mario Brothers.
I don't remember muscling my way through. Like you literally get a mushroom, and then you're 30 feet tall, and you like so. It's
Yeah.
basically the equivalent of Final Fantasy 13. You go from the beginning to the end, and that's the level.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was.
Mario 3 was so good. You need like incredible
Mario 3 was
finesse,
really good.
like incredible
A
finesse.
lot of those games were.
That's why you see speedruns of that game
You
where
ever-
people
you
just
ever play
jump the
special
whole time.
levels on like Super Mario World?
No.
Yeah.
They're fucking
They're-
horrific.
Next topic.
All right.
I got a.
no, we
I
can
got a
keep
quick
going.
one. So, Casey Hudson is in charge of Mass Effect 4. the production of it,
Who's
and
Casey Hudson?
Cool,
he's the
Brian,
guy
no one
who
cares.
ruined Mass Effect 3. And
Wait, they're
you
making
know-
a Mass Effect 4?
yes, they are.
course they
And
are.
they're
What?
soliciting
Isn't
suggestions.
Shepard dead?
Just let me finish.
Wait.
They're soliciting
My ears are
suggestions.
bleeding.
They'll bleed even more. Casey Hudson wants to know what your suggestions are for what the new Mass Effect 4 game should be. My suggestion: don't. Next topic.
That's the
No,
saddest
no, no,
thing
no,
I've
no, no,
ever
no, no.
heard.
So PC
You
gaming.
You just threw all of that. What?
Mass Effect 4 is coming out. Casey Hudson's in charge of it. He's one of the two guys who ruined Mass Effect 3. He wants to know what the fans want Mass Effect 4 to be.
There's like
and
a-
based
like
on
if you
feedback,
go to, like-
he'll throw it away and
I'm
make what he wants
no,
to
no, no.
make.
So like if you go to like Electronic
Next topic.
Arts or BioWare, like there's like an actual like you can drop a suggestion or something. Like there's actual.
You could write to him on Twitter, I guess, or probably visit the Mass Effect website. I don't know. I am divorced from Mass Effect. That's
No,
not
you're
my
not.
wife anymore.
No, you're not.
She's driving my car and
This
living
is
in
like
my
your
house, but it's
spiteful
okay.
ex-
I've
this is
moved
like your
on.
Spiteful ex-wife.
I've
Yeah.
moved on.
Yeah.
I've moved on.
I don't care
Felicia-
about her.
Felicia left.
Oh, okay. You should
She's
check
gone.
Everyone's
Megan's
gonna leave you
closet.
soon.
She took a smoke break.
Trust me.
Every time I talk about Mass Effect 3, she just leaves.
That's
No,
good.
that's
That's,
just-
smart. That's
I don't know.
adapting. That's
She can't take
evolution.
anymore.
Okay, well that's
PC gaming?
retarded.
So, Mass Effect 4, yeah, that's not happening. PC gaming, let's talk about it. You wanted to talk about it.
You want to go to?
Or Enslaved. We
Yeah.
can do Enslaved.
Slaves.
Apparently, you both really liked it.
Yeah, so let's start.
Why don't you
do
talk about it?
yeah,
Because
you
you're
didn't like it.
Sure.
the wrong one.
So
I'm not saying it was
about
perfect,
everything.
but I really
no,
enjoyed
it's
it.
not perfect. So, Enslaved is based off Journey to the West. That's the whole. That
Or
was the
Sayuki in Japanese.
Oh, fun fact.
or Journey to the West.
See, I said
in
Mass
Chinese.
Effect 3. Did you hear
Japanese.
that? I said Mass Effect 3 and she
Sayuki.
took a shit.
It's a Chinese story.
But the Japanese also
It's
have
the- it's-
many iterations.
It's one of the
Did it?
oldest.
including Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball.
No, it's one of the oldest epics ever written,
It's pretty cool.
and they made an action game. Based
Before
off
you
the
continue,
themes.
I have a question.
What?
Did your dislike of the game, was that predicated on the fact that it was not faithful to the original story?
Not entirely. No.
Okay,
I
continue.
can't even see how that would upset you.
I
No.
don't either. That's why I asked.
No, but you do have a story that's so
Continue.
rich and old and awesome and has been repeated so many times that I expect when you say, "Hey, we're going to be another one of those people to repeat Journey to the West,"
I see.
that you should go ahead.
Fievel Goes West?
That was really funny.
That wasn't a joke.
Oh, it's odd.
I'm sorry.
I feel like if you're going to be one of the many people to adapt Journey to the West, then you should go ahead and not lie about that. And just kind of take advantage of what parts of the story like. were
Did they
really
lie
cool.
about it?
Let him finish.
I'm exaggerating.
Let him finish.
I don't know what that means, though.
Brian, let him finish.
But I don't know what that means.
Let your brother finish.
Let your brother finish, Kyle.
What's wrong
Let-
with adapting
let your
Journey
brother-
to the Center
Nothing.
of the Earth?
Can you please let your brother finish? And
A
then
lot.
finish?
Anyway, but that's a big selling point, you know. To me, it's like, oh, it's a really. Okay, I'll just make like another analogy. If someone says they're gonna make a game based off the journey of Christ or something, you would expect
That would be a really short game.
That would be awesome.
You mean
Right.
Up the Hill?
sure.
I want to see Christ in a Max Payne style game. By the way.
Okay, laughs
I am
aside. All I'm
Jesus
saying is that you're
Christ.
taking an old, well-beloved story, right? And if you say you're gonna
And
take
I-
it,
I
and
will
then
take
all of a
the- I
sudden
will take the
the
blame for
only thing
setting you up
similar
for that.
is like, for some reason this character wears a crown of thorns
I
like
will-
the whole time, then you're like, huh, I don't know why they told me that. It's kind of like Jesus.
I mean, I could break down the similarity, but the bottom line
Was
is,
there
I
a
take,
spaceship in Journey to the Center of the Earth?
What are you talking? Anyway, so no,
Shut up.
I will say that I think yes, it was a little misrepresentative for me to say it that way.
It was
Because
called
it's
in-
definitely inspired by it.
It was
Like,
called-
there's elements of it.
I
It's
don't
not-
even want to say that I'm upset that they didn't follow the journey. It's
called
I mean,
Enslaved.
even the parts that they did take from Journey to the West, I feel like they didn't even take very well. That's what I'm upset about.
It's like what?
I thought Monkey's visual design was kind of sad, and Andrew also thought it was.
He's got a
kind of-
monkey tail.
I rolled my eyes really hard. Okay,
You didn't like it?
what?
His design, like you just.
It's okay.
He had a monkey tail.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't spectacular.
I thought it was
I just
really
thought it
weak
was
that he
okay.
earns his crown at the beginning. I like that she decided to keep him this way, but that's his crown. In Journey to the West,
you know, in the original story, the Buddhist monk puts that on the monkey to control him.
but we don't know that she's the monk It's really weird. She's almost like they didn't know
Okay,
what they
but it-
wanted
but
to
it-
take from Dragon Ball, and they didn't know what they wanted to take from Journey to the West.
No, but in Journey to the West, there's a monk.
I know.
and
He needs to be escorted.
He frees the Monkey King, but he does enslave him. I mean, that's
but we don't
like
even know.
that band that crown that the monkey wears is actually that controls him.
I know.
So
Enslaved opens up on a spaceship with slaves on it,
yeah.
and a guy with a monkey tail blows it up and escapes.
So
This is
so
what-
to that,
yeah,
so
this is
that
what
point,
happened.
And
so that
then a
point-
girl who will die if she doesn't put the slave collar on him, puts a slave collar on him, and then says, "Hey, lead me out of this scary craziness, and I'll take the slave collar off."
Yeah, that's what happens. Which I actually didn't dislike at all. I like that
Me
she.
neither.
I like that she used that to keep
Made
him.
perfect sense to me.
It did make perfect sense.
Okay.
One of the big things that I think they could have kept from Journey to the West is the whole personality of Monkey is that he's very obstinate. He's a very powerful personality. He feels unstoppable at all times. But what they did was they just took Bruce Willis. Like, he's literally exactly like the early Bruce Willis films. It was really creepy. Like,
Well,
he's
Bruce
strong.
Willis is unstoppable.
He's romantic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen
you know
Die
what?
Hard. He won.
No, I'm really taking your point.
He
but-
didn't
No, yeah,
die
I'm
hard.
being
or
so-
That
no,
was
I'm
probably
taking
one of the
your
weakest
voice, yeah.
parts. That me and Andrew saying like, why is this guy acting like that? Like, which is fine, but he's like the most generic action hero ever, and Trip is like the most generic female. I don't know why you guys like Trip. I'm totally shocked. She's really boring. Like, really boring.
She has one
Yvonne
focus. Go
hated
home.
her.
She's just a woman.
You
Why
hate
does
But
Wait,
she's
wait,
got
what?
no character. She's just
She does have a
she's
character.
the most
She's scared.
girl. Oh God, whatever. And it doesn't make sense, especially when you put her against this world, and then you have Pigsy. And as soon as Pigsy showed up, the game like just kicked in. I was like, I felt like the game woke up once Pigsy came in. It was really
I
cool.
agree with that. The tone
yeah,
shifts
the tone
a
shifts
lot
once
when
Pigsy
Pigsy
comes
I
in.
don't.
And then you get
I
this-
hated that character, and I thought that was the beginning of the end of that game in a negative
I'm
way.
agreeing with both. I didn't hate him. I didn't particularly like. He was cool.
All the
I liked
characters
him.
are really
But I will
well
say
acted,
that
too.
So that was just it. For me, a big selling point was that I liked the acting.
The voice acting
I
was
Yeah,
liked the
great.
interaction.
really well acted.
And like
all
I
of
said,
them.
I feel bad that
That's
if
why I was
if
sad
hyped up
Trip
the-
was such
if I hyped
a
up the
predictable
Journey to the
girl.
West thing.
Everything about Trip was just towing the line female. Like, I felt like I was just watching every action movie.
Okay.
It was every action movie ever dressed in a fantasy setting. It was so boring. But that's not to say it's bad. Again,
How
the
is
acting
she
is
supposed
really
to be?
I don't know what to tell you, dude. It was really boring. Really
you
boring.
could tell me
You
how it
can
would be
be
good.
And give her any other character. Pigsy has a character, for instance. Pigsy was really entertaining. He was also realistic, except for his visual design, which is fine because he's a fantasy character.
Right.
And so is Monkey. He's a fantasy character. And then you have Trip, who looks really misplaced next to them. She just looks hot, and she's smart, and she's perfect, and she needs rescuing all the time.
Well,
And
she's
that's-
in a New York City that's
I don't
filled with
care if you want to
robots.
rationalize why she's weak. She's in a fantasy setting. All she needs is rescuing, and she's perfect.
But she's not weak. She helps you get out of the city just as much as you help
And
her.
she's smart.
Is that bad?
It just
That's
adds
a
to how-
positive quality.
It adds to just how perfect she is at all
But
points.
she's not perfect. If you leave, she'll die.
Let's tell you, it was really boring.
No, so and that's,
Yeah, I
that's
did watch her get eaten. I know she can get
No, I'm
killed.
not. I'm
you
not.
guys.
No, I'm not using that. I was asking.
Like
I
me
was
and
making
Yvonne
this
were
other
watching the
point.
game, and she was like really into like the setting and the colors, and she liked that Monkey had this sort of array of things to rely upon, and we all liked her dragonfly and stuff like that. Like, these things are great, but as soon as they start acting together, we're like, oh, this is like really fucking boring. I don't know what to tell you. Like, as a girl, Yvonne was just like, she's so lame compared to him. Like,
There would be no story if she wasn't to some degree helpless.
that's not true. The monk in Journey to the West is also weak. I'm not saying
I
weakness
didn't
needs
read
to be
Journey
like
to the
this.
West. I'm talking about Enslaved.
I'm saying in both cases you have a character who's
So-
weak,
so
and you're
that's-
saying you appreciate the fact that in a setting where things are threatening, you have a character who's weak. Obviously, they can't all be heroes.
It's a
I
gameplay
get
mechanic.
Yeah,
I-
so that's what I was gonna say.
I get that, but you can have a gameplay mechanic revolving around a person who doesn't act like Trip acts. You can still have a character who says, hey, Monkey, I don't jump as far as you. Could you pick me up? But she's the most predictable female through and through at all points.
I don't know what that means, but I didn't have.
I don't
any
know what to tell you.
I didn't have any
Just
of
watch
those-
any fucking B action
Well, no,
movie with
I-
a heroine in
I-
it. That's Trip.
I played the
And
game.
she's next to Monkey and Pigsy in this world with mechs and stuff. She's totally boring and out of place. I wish she looked different. I wish she acted different. She can still be weak, but she's the weakest part out of the whole thing. She does no service to any girl. I don't see how she could entertain any girl watching the game. And for men, she's everything that you
I'm
would
not
come to
gonna-
expect out of a female.
I'm not going to argue that she's like the pinnacle of like a female.
I don't
gaming
see
character.
how she's
I,
especially heinous at all. I mean, but
yeah,
I
was
spent
saying,
that.
I'm not that.
But I spent that entire game empathizing with her because she's a girl trapped in an awful situation.
It was terrible.
There's
she
one
cries,
way through, and it
Monkey's
sucks.
on her fucking shoulder. It's just like really eye-rolling shit. And then I have to go back to the action. I basically play for the action. Like I said, it only lit up once Pigsy came in, and there was like 3 personalities. And then I really liked it. And then the setting got really good. I almost felt like the people producing the game really got a chance to like wake up. It's like the Ritalin kicked in or something.
Yeah, I hated that character though.
I don't know why.
I 100%
I liked
hated
him.
him.
He was great.
I
I
thought
liked
he
him.
was annoying. I thought he was
I
very
thought the
video
three-
gamey. Is just the
But-
compete with me before you can advance. to the
but I
game.
like
wait,
that.
So stop just for a second.
That's
This
when the
is-
game got
this is really
interesting.
because you're both arguing different sides. Like, so
Yeah.
you don't like the video game archetype of Pixie. You don't like the woman. So it's just interesting that
She
I
was
spent-
the lamest thing
I
ever.
didn't. I probably didn't have half the interactions he did because I spent most of that game ferrying her through like really meticulously. Because from the beginning, I felt bad for her. This is a girl who is stuck in a really bad situation, and the only way to live through it is by doing a bad thing, which is by putting a slave collar on this guy. And their relationship is strained, but their relationship is strained. I felt like this sucks for this girl. I'm going to get
I
her
didn't
through
feel like
this,
this
and
was
that'll
even
be the game.
nearly as poignant.
She didn't
the
spend the
plot
game,
as well.
like,
You don't even really
complaining.
understand a whole lot of what's going on.
It didn't matter. It was
exactly why it doesn't matter. It's a really generic action anything. Whether this is a game or a movie, they both share the same
No,
thing in
I
common.
didn't care
Just
what
go.
happened to the world.
She's weak. Save her. That's really all it is. And Monkey is like really quiet and collected and strong, and he says everything Bruce Willis says. He has these kind eyes. When he has no reason to like her, but he's also got nothing to lose.
You have a completely different perspective
So he
than I do.
protects
He has
her, and when
everything
she
to
does,
lose.
every time she's, he's like, "Don't worry, come with me." It's really fucking.
He spent the first half of the game being a dick.
And then Pigsy comes in, and he's like, "Hey, remember we're on a grand adventure."
I feel
And
like
it was
we're
really
in a different.
great.
I feel like we're in a different reality.
I totally
have a
don't know how you
completely
took the
different
game.
perception.
I don't know how you took the game
but
this
I will
seriously.
say-
It was really kind of corny and slightly hack from the get-go.
I
This
didn't.
game totally was. The best thing, Journey to the West, I always call it Journey to the West. This
Bible
game,
goes west.
what this game has going for it is as soon as you start it up, it's really pretty.
Yeah.
That's it. So play a game that's got some good action, and then it looks good, and that's really it. Not a whole lot about the game is compelling after that. I mean, really, it's just from scene to scene.
Well, I
where
liked
you
it because
kind of
the
puzzle
journey was
environments.
enjoyable. I liked the journey.
So that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So it's just this is really like you don't really need to rationalize it to each other because it's just a matter of different tastes. Kind of
Yes.
stepping back to what
I
I
played
said
that
earlier.
game, and she was me in that situation. She doesn't have survival skills. She knows some tech shit, but she's gonna die out there. It's a city full of robots and landmines. An entire city full of robots and landmines.
And I totally hear what you're saying.
Here's a guy with a stick that
but
shoots
here's the
lasers.
thing, I totally hear what you're saying, and I liked it for the same reason. I totally hear what he's saying, and I can get how he would not have enjoyed it for those reasons. Because he's right in a lot of... I mean, he's right, really. It's a very basic, rudimentary plot.
It's the most
I
rudimentary
enjoyed
thing.
it because I just liked watching the characters play off each other.
Yeah, that's why I enjoyed it.
There was nothing to play off. They did
No, but here's the thing. So I understand where you're upset, but
The man
it's
and
just
the
a
woman
difference
were the
of,
most-
I happened to get invested in these characters from the get go. You didn't, and that's like the key thing.
I thought
Yeah.
Monkey
And-
was so boring, and then of course they ended up falling in love. Both me and Andrew and Yvonne were like, "Oh my god, they're falling in love." They thought it was just the most hack thing, and I agreed. I really felt the same thing playing it.
I didn't.
I wasn't sure what was really
Yeah.
pushing me forward. I'm totally shocked.
I don't think they really fell in love either.
I wasn't.
Like, they had an attachment, but it's not even
God,
resolved by the end of the
okay.
game.
Did you beat it? I can't. Did
No,
you
he
beat
hasn't
it?
beaten
Okay.
it. The end of the
beat
game,
it.
they don't, like, dance off into the sunset. It's just, oh, we went through this shitty experience together, so I guess we're kind of friends, but it's not a romance.
I didn't take it that way. Yeah.
I didn't take it that
But
way at all.
I think so. Credit to the game, and then that it
It has really,
different
it has really
experiences,
finicky
you know?
controls too. That's something that's really bothering me.
Oh, really? I liked the controls a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I had no problem playing that game.
I had frustration with it a
feel like
little,
I'm on
but,
Mars.
But I liked the characters, so I didn't.
There's
care.
like really specific things he can do in like really specific spots.
Yeah, there's a
you have
couple
you have a
times where you feel
character.
really stuck.
This is the one thing that really bothers me and Andrew. You have a character who, when you just press the jump button standing, he jumps like I do. And then if he needs to grapple from one grip to the next grip, he can go vertically about 23 feet sideways. He'll go, and he can jump super far without even using his legs.
Right, but the floor,
but if
the
you-
floor is
okay,
like
but
this,
if
and
you
the
have
wall
an-
is like
if
this.
you have an
It's totally
over-
different.
If you have an
Here's the thing.
as someone who climbs
I
stuff,
would-
that's not feasible.
It's a
Here's
vi-
the
And
thing,
if
I
there's
would
something
never-
right
I
over
would-
his head, he cannot jump
I would
up.
never argue realism versus consistency.
He's got a monkey
literally
tail.
just
But it's a
talking
playability thing, not just like, oh, that's not
but I'm
realistic.
saying
I'm
so
saying
for-
like, if I need to escape, Monkey can't do it because he just goes and then does an awkward.
So that's my point. Is
and he
I
runs
didn't
into
have-
walls,
so
and I'm
that's
like,
what saying, I
just
didn't
grab
have
the
that
ledge.
issue.
Oh, but I can't grab this.
I didn't
ledge.
escape though. I just fought.
Yeah, I know. I did too.
Yeah,
That's why.
So
it's okay.
no, that was all. So I think it was just a matter. I don't know.
There's times that if I want to go to
Did you
another
ever
part
play,
in a
like, the old
level,
Legend of Zelda games. Because
Oh,
that had a
wow.
lot of funky maneuvering as far as like there was no jump button, but you just kind of had to know when you.
No,
could.
I played games
So-
like this, but the point is Monkey can jump. Basically what I'm saying is the game
Yeah.
says, here's a
So-
set of skills that Monkey has for you to use when you're interacting with the environment.
No, I agree, and like,
But out of the skills they use, it's really illogical what in the things he can't do.
no, and I would agree with
It's
that.
really
But
odd.
I'm saying just purely on a gameplay level, like I didn't have a problem with that. I'm just talking about specifically the fact that I could get him to do. Like I understood the mechanics of the game. It's like, oh, okay, I can go. Like I was
Yeah.
never like, "Ugh," like you know.
No, I mean, the obvious stuff is obvious. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
so
talking
that's-
about. But there's like sometimes I need to backtrack in a level, and there will be a ledge, and then the floor below him, and I'm like, okay, I need to get back to the ground floor so I can repeat grabbing this lever. But it's like, he won't jump there.
Oh,
He won't jump there.
really?
That's
I
a
didn't
lot of the
have that
game.
problem.
I don't
No, he
remember
can't
that.
jump down whenever something is as low as Monkey has the ability to jump. If something is 20 feet below him, which he can jump that far down, you can't do it in certain areas. There'll just be like a building, like a ledge. It's just like, Monkey can't jump here. He can't vault off of this material. He can jump off it, but he can't jump off it and then drop down. Like, the game would have benefited from just giving the Monkey the ability to just kind of jump. If he could just freely jump, it would have made a lot more sense. But then I'll find like a part of a ledge off to the side where it's like, then he goes, and then he drops down. And then I'm like, Monkey can drop here, but he cannot drop there. And we're talking about this guy of all people. It's really wonky.
He's
and if
got a monkey tail.
and if I shift from one screen to another and I'm holding the same direction, he'll run and then turn around, then I have to readjust, and then he'll run the same way
It had
again.
Resident Evil camera problems, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then it would choose which times the camera would be a fixed camera, and then other times when I could freely rotate around. I thought it was a hack. I could only use my cloud sometimes. It was just like, here, now use the
Poo
cloud. The cloud. I don't know. It just reminded me of like all of kind of the half okay action games I grew up with. It was just an action game, and it borrowed from Journey to the West and did like a really lazy job doing it. And I feel like they did even
I
the
thought that
characters
they
a
just wanted to
disservice.
take that as like a bare bone structure and then do that.
That was
on
the
fans.
impression.
And that
God,
and
and
that
that's what I'm
lent
saying, I
to the
feel
game a
bad,
lot.
but-
That actually lent a lot to the game. I feel like if the same developers didn't decide to use Journey to the West to give them some ideas, they would have had a game that was like, well, what do we do? And then like, let's at least base it around here. And like, it gave them like really good creative structure. So the things that I'm thankful for, I think that were things that we could
This
thank
isn't
the old
November.
story for.
Nothing. Continue.
Are you zoning out just because you're not? I'm actually listening to this.
I'm listening.
Because he makes a lot of good points.
I'm just throwing in my chip jokes.
But yeah, but to me, like bringing it back to Journey to the West, one of the big things that story is able to give you is this feeling of we've set out on an adventure. And only once I grabbed Pigsy did I feel like the game took off. The backgrounds got really interesting. Like I was on these snaking mechs and all this stuff.
I would
He's
agree
like,
that I
I'll
only
race
wish it
you.
had maybe been a little like longer, just because it does feel like. I agree with you that it feels like the tone shifts so suddenly.
really
and crazy,
does.
and I would have enjoyed that for more.
And even
like, for a
visually,
longer
like
amount of
aesthetically,
time.
when
I
the
was
two are
glad
next
that
to
part
each
was
other.
brief. Honestly,
You really didn't like
I
this,
didn't
yeah.
like his area. I didn't like him. I didn't like how it suddenly became about being heroic rather than just fucking. Oh, well, the village is trashed. Fuck. Start a new life.
Yeah.
I didn't like that there had to be some. I especially didn't like the conclusion to the game. But the reason I look back on that game fondly is because of the process of getting to the shitty
liked
thing
the
I
conclusion.
enjoyed.
I like the way it.
I
maybe we
like
shouldn't
the
say- I don't know if
characters.
you'll actually care to finish or not. But,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
but I mean, I liked it because it was.
I don't
so
like the
ambiguous.
last second turnaround of morality where they're trying to make it seem like it's gray. It's not gray. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You know,
I just appreciated that it just leaves it. You can decide.
Why couldn't Trip have a character? I don't get
she
it.
did have a character.
No, she didn't.
She had a character you didn't like it. That's
No,
and
she
that's, and that's
didn't.
Fine.
She's
did have a
a
character.
fucking piece
You're
of
acting
paper.
like if you met someone like that in real life, like they're not a person.
I would have been. You are the most girl. And we don't give me this if I met her in real life. She's a fucking video game character.
No, but I'm
you've
just
got
saying,
Monkey
what-
and you've got fucking Pigsy.
It's just I'm saying
and
she
even
doesn't-
Monkey was pretty. He was fucking Bruce Willis.
Do you
Oh
not
my
like Bruce
God.
Willis?
It's just an action
The
movie.
lack of hair is jarring.
It's just an action movie. You have a really strong guy protecting a really weak girl, and all their interactions were like, oh, like I just.
But they're not
okay.
really weak. They supplement each
I don't know
other.
what I can
shut
say
up.
to you. You didn't like it? That's cool.
I get she's techie and he needs help because he's dumb.
We're gonna
Yeah.
go in circles, so.
Oh
I'll
my
just end this
god,
by
I'm
saying
so
we liked
shocked.
it. Travis
I'm so
hated it.
shocked in a world where you have these characters like who are colorful and different, especially like Pigsy. You've got Monkey and then Trip who are like,
I do
and Monkey's
think they made
clearly
her
like
too hot.
She's
And if they
super
made her younger, you
he's
might
like
have liked her more.
superhuman, and he's like super different, and the world is super extraordinary. And then Trip is just
She's supposed to be
she's like a main character in a cartoon.
she's
just
supposed
really
to be like a teenager, but she looks too old.
She's
If they-
just hot.
If they
She's
cut
hot
some of her
and
height down and
capable,
made her not
and she
hot,
wears like a tube top shirt.
yeah, like if she was
and then
13,
Monkey
if she looked
is
like
overdeveloped and
Ed
looks
from
like an
wanted
ape.
Cowboy Bebop.
Flawed, or
No, I wanted her to actually be like a character. It looks like if you took a girl who imagines herself in a fan fiction in an actual world that was
You think
different
she's a Mary
and
Sue?
full of. Sure,
You don't know who Mary Sue is?
I guess
It's
yeah.
when someone inserts themselves into fiction and they have nothing
I'm
but
saying
all
she's
the greatest
incredibly
traits.
regular, other than them going, "Hey, let's just give her
That's
techie
fine.
abilities from the future."
No, I like that.
Yeah, well, let's have a character who's really smart, so she'll constantly go like this, and she's like, "Monkey, do this," and then it's like future tech
Monkey.
jibber jabber.
Monkey, help
But
me.
she didn't sound like that.
Monkey, can you just?
She had a good voice actress. How different does she have to be?
I'm like so sad.
I can take a normal person too. We can have a normal character. I liked her because she was vulnerable, and she wasn't.
But any
this-
other character, Monkey could also, any of them could be vulnerable. You could take any
Monkey
woman.
was vulnerable. He had a fucking bomb on his neck
Oh wow.
for the whole game.
So
Okay,
you
wow.
guys are not gonna agree, obviously. So
If you wandered away from her, it
but why
started
couldn't-
getting death
why-
vision.
why-
you guys still talking?
Why couldn't she fit
You're
her?
not gonna convince him. He's
Why
not gonna-
couldn't she
It's
fit her
called
fantasy
downloadable
world?
conflict.
I know.
Why couldn't she fit her fantasy world where things are different? She was the most fucking boring
Visually,
TV character
I agree.
ever.
Visually, I agree.
She acted the same way. She was a fucking plank.
She was scared. She spends the whole game being scared.
I want to scream.
She's a scared
Anybody,
person.
you could still have a character more interesting and also scared because she's not superhuman like
I don't know
Monkey.
how much more they could have fleshed out. She talks about her village. She thinks it's okay. She has her own view.
Okay, then you
They
know
go
what?
To the village,
it's a
everyone
boring,
is dead.
It's a boring goddamn game.
I'm
Then
s-
it's a super boring
sorry
goddamn
you didn't
game.
like her.
With
It's a difference of
flawed
opinion.
gameplay and a really good art team.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna leave it at then.
it was flawed.
I would give it
Really flawed.
6.5 Tollies over 2 Big Sisters.
Okay.
Oh,
That's my rating.
That's actually- I
don't know if
understand
that's
that.
high
Yeah,
or not.
It's high enough.
We've driven away
I
Felicia
liked
for
the
a
game.
second
I liked
time.
the game a lot.
I
It's
don't-
funny how we've talked so much
I'm
about
not trying
women.
to convince
we haven't
you.
gotten
I'm not
10
trying to
words
I don't
out
even
of her.
get it.
Don't
I don't.
feel like
I don't.
attacked. I'm
I'm-
just saying I enjoyed it.
I'm confused how you could go through the game and not feel like you've done it a billion times, other
Didn't
than looking
matter.
at it.
I do, and I just finished
I
explaining
did,
to you
yeah,
that
exactly.
I enjoy Mario games.
Exactly.
But he
But I
says
like-
he doesn't enjoy Mario games. He's like, it doesn't matter.
But I
the
don't.
gameplay is
I
good.
don't enjoy Mario games, but I did like the aesthetic of it.
She
It
might
was-
as well have been Peach.
It was about the process. I enjoyed that this character needed help. I could provide her help, and we went through beautiful scenery. It's as Spartan as that. Was it great? No. Was it memorable? Aside
No.
from the visuals? No.
Yeah.
But did I hate her? Absolutely not. There was not enough substance for her to hate. But there was not
That's
enough...
bad!
I didn't love her either. I just didn't mind her. I liked her.
Okay, well then
She
you're
was
spending
okay.
your time playing a boring game.
She looked at a fish tank and was like, wow, that's existed for hundreds of years. And then a rock
We're
crashed through it, and
struggling.
she was
We're
sad.
enslaved.
She wasn't enslaved.
Her people were fucking enslaved.
Yeah,
They
but
were getting captured.
yeah, they got captured.
He hasn't
and
gotten to the ending yet.
the ending is so,
Doesn't know.
but the ending is dumb because the bad guys.
What else do we have on your
Whole game is dumb.
sheet?
Well, I just want to say that in the beginning, when the slave gets executed, it doesn't mesh with the ending. That's all I want to say. Remember when the slave helps?
Yeah, because it's
Monkey?
not a game they thought about.
Yeah. This
heard
isn't
you
a
say
brilliant
that.
game. It's just
Which
pretty.
is too bad because Journey to the West is one of those brilliant goddamn things to ever hit paper. And they could have at least helped themselves a little bit more. That's it.
I liked it for what it was. If
I
it
don't-
had been
I don't
more
need to
Journey
read-
to the West, then it would have been 2 Journey to the West.
don't
It
know
would have
that.
been like, why retread
You literally
this again?
can't know that.
I've-
As someone who doesn't know anything about
I've
that.
watched
You
Dragon
can't see
Ball.
this, but Travis
Dragon Ball
raising
is
his
nothing
hand.
like Journey to the West.
It's got a Monkey King with a stick that grows. What else do I need to know?
That's the only
He's
thing.
got a
It
tail.
borrows about as many elements as
That's about
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's the thing, I don't like Dragon Ball because of Dream. I like Dragon Ball because of Dragon Ball.
Okay,
You
yeah, I
can't
like
com-
enslaved because enslaved.
Cool.
Actually, yeah, that's
That was awesome.
That kind of what
It's
it comes
fine.
down to, yeah.
I didn't love it. You know what? I paid $5 for it. and it was better than Modern Warfare 3.
I didn't pay
Yeah, it
anything
was.
for it. I think it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, but you didn't play Modern Warfare 3.
I won't play Modern Warfare
I know
3.
you
I don't
won't.
like shooters as
You
much.
shouldn't.
Uh,
Multiplayer's fun though.
are we going to talk about BioShock?
No.
What's to talk about? I'm just excited for it,
Are you?
but I'm the only one.
Are you?
You guys are cynical and beyond belief.
No, I
don't. I mean, you still kind of invest
play
in
it.
stuff, but I know Travis.
I'll
wouldn't.
play it if it comes out.
Next
It's
year.
been delayed twice.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't follow that.
They spent
so.
a shit ton of money to put multiplayer in it that they completely abandoned. I'll play it if it comes out.
That's sad.
Is it coming
You
out?
know what? Maybe we could
I don't
talk
know.
about-
EA really does have that stance. Like that's literally their
That's-
stance. Is they will release. They
That's
won't
not.
release
I
a
don't
game
think it's an
unless-
EA game.
Eh.
I know we
No,
have
but
a
I'm just
tendency to
saying
blame
in
EA
general,
for
that
everything.
seems, I'm saying in general that seems to be the trend now. Is like things just need.
Yeah,
to
that's a
have-
true thing. That's a true thing.
That's
I don't
really- that's
know if
unfortunate.
I poured a lot of money into something and it still wasn't done by now. I wouldn't release it.
Okay, that's
If-
cool, businessman.
Are you
Brian.
kidding me?
No, I'm not.
He doesn't know anything
They've
about
spent
business.
not know
They've
how.
spent millions of dollars on it. How much more money is going to go into it?
You're right. They
What,
should get a
they need
refund
to
and get their money
recoup-
back.
What?
Really? Duke Nukem was in development for 14 years. Who
That's
says
different.
they're
It
an
was
end?
picked up by a different a group of people.
It was developed by 14 years.
No, it
before
was
it
so-
was picked up.
I
yes,
know.
it was.
I know, but you have a group of people who had this budget for 14 years, and then it shut down, and then a separate group of people bought the IP,
And then
they
just put
didn't
out
work
what
on
they
it
had.
for 14 years.
Yeah, they just put out what they
But they
had.
all no, they
and it was a
completely
pile
redid
of shit
it.
that made no money.
They redid it. It wasn't the
didn't
old
redo
game.
it.
Yes, they did.
I know it uses
No, they
the same
didn't.
old engine. I think
It uses
Yeah.
the same content.
Yeah, but they redid like
they
If
they
they
did the
redid
bare minimum to
80%
make
of it-
sure that it ran, and
if
that
they
is
redid
it.
80% of it, then they redid it.
If
didn't
BioShock
play
got
it.
delayed for another
You
2
can look it
years,
up. There's
that
an
would be
article written
another
on it.
bunch of
But
millions.
as far as I know, it's only been delayed by at least up to like maybe 6 months. 'Cause
no, it's been delayed twice. It's
was
been
it? The
yeah.
earliest time I remembered it.
There
coming
was a
out
point where
was-
people thought it might be vaporware. There was.
The earliest time I remembered hearing about it coming out was like November of this year, and obviously we're in November now. It's
I
coming
forgot
out in
what I was
March.
going to say.
If
now.
it's
but-
actually going to come
God
out,
damn
then
it.
yes, it would be silly to scrap the project. But like I said, Duke Nukem came this close to coming out for over a decade. That was millions
It's
of
not the
dollars
same
vanished.
comparison.
I
at
think
all.
BioShock will be fine. I mean, if you're talking,
I hope
about,
so.
That's not even a similar
I'll buy it if it comes
comparison.
out.
We're not talking about Half-Life 3. We're talking about BioShock.
Well, Half-Life 3 is not draining money out of fucking the company because they're not making it.
That's true.
They're just talking about it and jerking off.
I mean, I'm hopeful that BioShock Infinity will be good.
I'm hopeful, too.
It sounds
looks-
ambitious. It looks awesome.
It looks cool.
Oh, now I remember what I want to say.
Like
maybe
the
we could
trailer, Nico Vega's a good
Yeah.
singer.
maybe we could switch the topic to: would it be okay if more games let themselves just be one player?
Oh,
I think so.
I think absolutely.
Yeah,
I
because that's a
absolutely
fear
think so.
obviously these developers have because they keep pushing multiplayer.
I think multiplayer.
At least that, I
is
think
a
that was the
double-edged
theme
sword.
of this console generation was to
Yeah.
to pressure a developer and to say,
That's-
why don't you have a
that's
multiplayer
Frank
mode?
Jabot. Thanks, Frank.
But like, I feel like
Jabot.
Skyrim for me was the
Jabot.
title that came along and said, "Hey, we can give people another 80+ hour RPG,"
And it did
like
well,
it
right?
sells so
It did well.
But
I mean,
Elder
because they
Scrolls
stopped
is an
believing that was
established
a thing.
franchise.
I mean, I'm really surprised because one-player games are some of my favorite. I mean, I love.
Well, we
play-
grew up on them, but it stopped.
So this
it
is
ended.
this is the thing. The best games are the ones that are created specific. So like, I think about one-player games, and those are like my favorite. I think about as far as two-player games, they have to be built to be played with two people because like, otherwise I don't remember.
You
Not
guys
random
aren't
person.
thinking.
Yeah, exactly,
You guys are thinking like people, not a company. Look
No,
at
and I
we-
mean,
we're getting there.
I
We're
look
getting
at
there.
Madden. It's a yearly
We're
moneymaker.
getting there.
How can we make every single game Madden?
Yeah, we know.
Because then creatively, we don't have to think. We just push the same product
and I
every
totally
year
understand
That's
with
what we're-
slightly updated
okay,
guns.
shut up.
So, but then the question is it still viable to do that? Like, should more companies push for? Like, that's what you're
For
asking. I think,
multiplayer,
right? Like, yeah.
no.
No. For one player.
Yes,
About-
yes, they should.
No, not should. The topic is it viable? Is it still?
Yes,
something?
it is.
Okay, so that's the
Single
stance.
player
And-
games have just as strong a base. Just the corporate people that run shit see
We know.
multiplayer and they
Okay.
understand it. They don't understand single player because it's like a story that pulls people in. Why the fuck would we do that? That doesn't make sense. That's not a franchise. We can't make 4 of it.
Alan Wake have?
It had downloadable content.
No, I'm saying did it have multiplayer?
No.
Okay.
And it wouldn't have worked. at
No, but
all.
that's what I'm saying. So like, what's okay? So like, good single player games in the last few years, I guess.
Max Payne 3 is a great it's a great example. It's a great single player game and it's a mediocre multiplayer experience.
So would you have been happy purchasing it with? I mean, I guess I know the answer already.
Yes.
Like, if it was just one player.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But do you
I've
think
gotten
other people
so
would have?
much enjoyment out of the single
Or do you
player.
think there would have been people like? Oh,
I can tell you this: when I joined the matchmaking for multiplayer, there's hardly anyone on, and that's been the case since almost day one. So I don't know how viable is the multiplayer thing. It obviously doesn't work in every situation.
I think games would be better suited to just do one or the other. Quite frankly, like
Yeah,
I enjoyed games where co-op was clearly like the point.
yeah. They tried to shove multiplayer into Spec Ops. How fucking not
That
fitting was
retarded.
that?
I was
That
shocked by it. I was
stupid.
sad when I
I
saw
love that
that
the creative director called it a cancer. I wish
awesome.
more people were that
That's
honest,
good.
because
I
that's
like that.
exactly what it is. It's a fucking tumor on the neck of Spec Ops.
That's I forgot it had. I wouldn't have even
Everyone
thought that.
did.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So did Red Dead Redemption.
That is a little bit different, because it does kind of work. It does.
I won't
Because
say- I
it's a
won't say
giant
it doesn't
world.
Work, but I'm saying when I played that game, once I had beaten the game,
I was
once I
done
had
with it.
beaten Undead Nightmare,
Yeah.
once I was done with the story of John Marston in the Old West, I didn't think to myself, you know what? It's time to go play with some people.
But you
Yeah.
know what?
It's
That's
time
how I
to-
feel.
time
It's
to
like,
saddle up and-
why do I need to get involved?
But you know
with
what?
that?
Yeah.
Some people do think that, and if they can sell downloadable content that's like new hats,
But
people will buy it, and that makes the money, and that's much cheaper than
I
making
wanna
another game.
Talk to that guy.
it just seems funny making it the focus.
Who wants to talk to that guy? That guy's a cunt. New hats!
He's out there.
Fuck yeah!
He's out there.
Fuck your hat.
Yeah.
I don't like hats. Hats?
It's on the disc, but you pay for it.
Yeah, it's disc locked content. That's what DLC stands for.
We went to the
Thanks.
trouble of putting it on.
Thanks, Capcom. It's almost within reach. Just pay for it.
Did you want to make any bigger point, or was it just more of a question?
No, I just feel like I said, the obvious theme of the last console generations was developers, or at least the people funding them, seem to really think it's important that everything takes advantage of their online mode. So they shoehorn it in, and it became a point where, like he said, to people with money, it's obvious that the choice has to be put in multiplayer, or what else the fuck are you doing with your stupid game?
Yeah.
And then Skyrim came along, and it was just like, this is clearly like a game one person gets to... Because I know I'm not the only one that just likes to sit down with a game. I know it's about me, and it's my whole... because we grew up with those RPGs and those adventure games, so it just doesn't make sense that, like you said... when you finish like Spec Ops: The Line, that I want to take whatever the fighting, whatever the shooting system is around that. They're like, hey, we should all have strangers shoot each other now. Like I couldn't think of.
It's almost detrimental to the whole point.
It
of the
actually
game.
Let's have multiple people break down
the game is spent
psychologically.
the entire time.
Yeah, and not only that, but it actually cheapens. And that's
There should be a
Oh,
map.
sweet! I have a white phosphorus gun.
There should be a map where you run around the painting of the burned girl to shoot an enemy. He's hiding behind Conrad's corpse. You fucking spawn camper.
Yeah, so I feel
Thanks.
like the emotion that I feel is disgust with that feeling, like it cheapens the game
does.
you just played.
It
does.
Like Red Dead Redemption, like what happens? A bunch of cowboys run around like doing what?
It's exactly what you. It's just
It's
that
the
game
map of
from
the world,
everyone's
and you just
perspective.
run around doing
and
cowboy
you
shit.
You can shoot people. You can make friends. Hey, how you
Yeah.
doing? You
Hey,
can-
let's hang out. You can make friends and then
Yeah,
shoot them in the
it's-
back of the head.
How
like
much
Jesse
time do
James.
people have?
That's kind
I
of.
feel like I'm old now. It's like, how much time you kids
and
have?
that's the thing is,
You're
all
pretending
these
to be
games,
cowboys
like, I
now.
don't play Warcraft, but I will give it to you that I'm sure it's like the best MMORPG. So if you have that, why are you playing Red Dead Redemption?
That's
Because
another
they're-
thing I think too. Like if
Because
there's other
people are
things that do it
squabbling
better.
over the pie. Because there are people that want to play WoW, but they don't want to play WoW because it isn't cowboys. And there's not gun aiming.
So until we get Cowboys of Calperia, there's no
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah.
Those guys.
World of Cowboy Craft.
That's the
Yeah!
game I want to play.
Yeah,
Honestly, Slavecraft.
I do too.
Where all of the it's
So
it's
much.
the 1600s and all the slaves revolt.
No, I don't want to play. I want to play the 1500 one where it's just the economy.
Well, that's fucking depressing. We could talk about how much Capcom is now finished.
I don't know anything.
I don't know.
about
I've
Capcom.
stopped
Where are they
following.
now?
I know it's
Capcom.
silent.
Okay, no, I gotta ask. Did you guys actually play? I'm assuming no, but just because
Just
it
ask.
was funny, did you guys play the demo for Resident Evil 6?
No.
Because I
I
actually played
watched the demo and
okay,
went,
so you know
"I've
what I'm talking
seen
about.
enough."
I was shocked that people thought this game would be good. Like, I was amazed.
They're
It's the same
called-
reason why
was-
what is it?
They're called fanboys.
No,
they
but-
don't think.
But not even beyond that. Like it was, I didn't know what I was looking.
I think
at.
it's the same reason Dead Space 3 is still compelling people. Like, I saw the trailer for that,
Yeah.
and it
I thought
looks
it was
like...
out already.
Isaac plus dude bro.
Yeah, there's another dude, bro.
Pulpage.
It's heavy.
What?
There's gonna be some pulpage. This grinding machine is
Stop.
gonna pulp you.
There's heavy action.
God.
It's like reloading,
Oh,
shooting, I got your
face.
back. It looks like they're...
Have you played Dead Space 2?
No, I've
In
still tried
Dead
to do the
Space
first
2,
one. I
you
don't
team
even know if I
up
want
with
to.
a one-eyed girl named Ellie to get out of this nightmare space station.
Again.
It's a different place.
I know where he just goes from.
You were rescued.
station.
No. You were rescued from the first one, but the infection got into the second one.
Stop
and it's a
talking about
nightmare.
it.
It doesn't matter. Ellie, female character, one eye. The third game comes around. They're introducing co-op. Is it Ellie?
It's dude, bro.
It's a white space marine. A
He's
white
got
male
your
space marine.
back.
Who literally is like, don't fuck around with me, Isaac. I don't take your shit. I saw it and I was just like, we've learned nothing as a society.
Okay, so after that...
This is spinning
I'm
wheels
sort of
in a
associating
parking
the
lot.
same mentality with why Resident Evil can go from that game we played on the PlayStation where it's like fixed camera angles,
Yeah.
creeping you the fuck out, to a game where you just have a wrestler kicking and shooting shit to
Can
death.
I?
Yeah, no. Are you
Can I
familiar
interrupt
with-
for 1 second? When the first
Sure,
two
you
Resident
can do that.
Please. When the first two Resident Evil games came out, and I was a kid, I was over with my stepbrother at his friend's house, and I told another kid there the entire plots of both games, and I completely made them up. From start to finish, and I had them
that's pretty
enthralled for 2 hours. I'm like, in the second game, and I was completely just bullshitting from beginning to end.
So nothing's changed.
And they were
No,
like,
it's-
whoa!
It's a whole new world.
I
for
definitely
players.
sold 2 copies of both games
Cause see the thing.
to 2 people who was sold a lie.
The thing is, it's a totally different demographic. I mean, that's the,
It's
like I remember
weird.
playing 1 and 2 with Trout, like because we would play these horror games together.
Yeah.
Because 1 it was more fun, and
And
2,
we needed to.
It was actually kind of scary, like to play by yourself, like it was fucking.
Yeah.
horrifying.
Dude, I
So
used
it
to
was
get a
more-
little fear
Forever.
boner whenever
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
first screen
saying.
came on. It said this game is gonna have.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
first
Yeah.
that I made was
This game.
No, but it said this game
Yeah,
has.
it's that little
What
still.
is
It's a
it?
little still of
It's-
game,
and it
just
says what? Something,
this
something,
game
blood and
contains
gore.
Scenes that are like maybe considered.
And
yeah.
then you watch the first live action cinematic and you're like, okay, maybe it ain't that scary.
Yeah, but no, but I mean the gameplay.
I'm
itself
Chris
is-
Redfield.
It's very
Yeah,
creepy.
it had a creepy
Dude, that
ambiance.
police station
Takes
had
place
no
in
sounds
one-
in
Oh
it.
yeah, that's. The
It was like
thing,
this
yeah.
quiet police
It's funny
station.
because the president's office in Resident Evil 6 also had no sounds in it, but I was bored.
Well,
It
that's
was
because
shite.
You're doing. It's an action game. It's Modern Warfare
But-
zombies.
It's not. It's a mesh of everything that they
No,
think
and
will
that's
make
what was,
money,
That's what amazed me.
and
'cause
it's none of them.
That's what amazed me when I played the demo, because it's very.
Please, demo.
And it's not even that they mesh them. It's literally that there's just they're sectioned off.
Yeah.
They're not trying to combine.
It's
these
a
different elements.
fruitcake
It's-
of elements.
Yeah, like it's you have your, like they're all broken up. So like Leon and this other random woman is like
Strong
Resident Evil
female
4,
character, I'm
maybe Resident
assuming.
Evil, I didn't play Resident Evil 5, but it like reminds me of Resident Evil 4, where it's more straightforward. You stop. You
Resident
can shoot,
Evil
you can
5
move.
was like Resident Evil 4, but racist.
Yeah, and so it's got that element. Then you play Chris's storyline, and it just immediately is completely different. And it's like
It's
fucking
Call of Duty.
Gears of not. It's like Gears of War.
Is it?
Where Chris's bicep is like the
That
size
was
of a
Resident
tank.
Evil 5.
Yeah,
His
he's got, like-
bicep is the size of his female partner's head.
Yeah, like, and he's just fucking screaming like he's just like fucking get down, like
I can lift everything.
Like, he sounds like Walker in the later half
Yeah.
of Spec Ops. Like he's just screaming at everybody, and like you have him like your ammo.
And I heard they're
freaking
also,
out.
like,
you have
they're-
like takedowns and
I heard their idea of drama is just telling Chris he's bad. Like, his teammates are just like, I can't believe you let all those people die, Chris
I don't even
Redfield.
remember.
He's like, I'm Chris Redfield.
But,
My
okay.
biceps are big and I'm
And so
sad.
the craziest-
You're a bad leader, Chris Redfield. Ugh, I'm really
So,
sad. And also,
the
my neck
craziest-
is really thick.
The craziest was the last dude. I think his name is Jack. I don't even give a shit.
Let's call him, let's just call him bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
So bullshit does everything that Chris does, but he can also fight with his arms and like he can like fucking
Yeah, Kung
like
Fu power.
kung fu some shit up. Like
Well,
it's ridiculous.
see, he's got some blood.
And-
Basically, he's got, what is that disease?
but it's just absolutely.
Well, he's got the magic blood, which lets him punch holes in tanks.
He's immune to whatever the T virus.
Yeah, what is it? Sickle cell virus. That's what he has.
What? Is that what they call it?
Sickle cell anemia. That's
No,
what
it's
he's
not.
got.
Sickle cell
No, he's
virus?
white.
Oh, that's Sheila, because she's black.
His name's
Yeah.
Jake,
I don't care.
which is
He's
the
old.
least threatening,
But
Good
least
old-
interesting.
so anyway,
Jake.
so that's what was crazy. It's like
I'm Jake. I'm in a snowy
I could almost
cabin.
understand the rationale of combining all of these things, but it wasn't that
I
they even
don't.
combined them. It's that you literally, I could see someone playing like Leon and being like, "Yeah, I like Leon's, but I didn't like Chris. Chris's was weird."
I assume
I'm like,
everyone
"You're
who
an
likes
idiot.
the game
whole
says
thing
that.
Was dumb. Like it's.
Yeah. I assume that they all
For
sound
some
like
of these
that, by
Gears
the
of
way.
War's like, yeah, Resident Evil 6 is awesome, man, but I don't know why they just make it all Chris.
Man, I was rocking it as Chris, but then I was playing as Leon. He didn't even have any guns. He was like, "Oh, zombies!" and I was running. It was
And the
really
guy who likes Metal
cool.
Gear Solid is like, oh man, Jake, he's like,
He's
awesome,
great,
man.
he
Only
crawls.
thing that sucks he didn't have a katana, because that would have been
Oh, he looked like Raiden.
Jesus. So yeah, but people love that game. I don't know why.
No, they don't. No one loved that game.
No,
Resident Evil
boys.
6?
Everyone does.
No,
but
they didn't even
us.
love it. They're insane.
It broke their hearts.
Yeah. That's just the wailing of a person whose mind has collapsed.
So I know you're not aware probably, but do you know how like Capcom
Not
keeps-
generally.
So yeah, this was all leading up to Capcom losing their mind. So what's
yeah,
going
so
on?
you know how Capcom
Please.
dodges this whole Mega Man thing. Like
Mega Man thing?
basically, fans are constantly clamoring for Mega Man games. Like
Capcom
overwhelming.
doesn't want to
What?
give
But within
fans
what
what it
context?
wants.
Like an X, original,
Anything.
Legends, just
A Mega
anything?
Man. Well,
Doesn't
it-
matter?
They
it's-
canceled 2 Mega Man games recently.
It kind of started when like people didn't understand why Mega Man didn't get in the Marvel vs. Capcom game, and then they kept announcing new secret
Oh, yeah,
characters,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
it wasn't Mega Man. Like no one understood it. And then years before that, they were always announcing that we're gonna work on a reboot of Legends, and then that got canceled. He didn't get in Mega Man Marvel vs. Capcom, and then they said, "Hey, we're making Legends again." And the original guy was working on it. It was getting like all this funding, and they were working on it, and everyone's like, "Ah!" And then it got canceled
No,
again.
it was worse than that because the guy was soliciting suggestions like Casey Hudson. He
Yeah.
was going, "Hey, we're making a Mega Man game.
It wasn't in
what
a
kind
bad
of thing are you
way."
interested in seeing?" And everyone's like, "Oh, I want to share all this stuff." And they took all that, and Capcom went
Yeah, bye.
right in the trash can.
Yeah.
I wish
They literally
everyone
went,
at home
"I
could
love
have
your
seen what Brian just
suggestions."
did,
Yeah.
because that was great.
No,
They
yeah,
just balled them all
they
in a
were
big
soliciting
ball,
suggestions
threw up
on
a
the
finger,
website.
Go fuck yourself, fan base. We don't care what you
So
want.
there's nothing in the
So
word
the
thing.
guy who originally worked on Mega Man, like the real mind behind all the Mega Man games, he's like
They're very complex
He's
titles.
so kicked the bucket. Like he's gone.
Dead?
I was gonna say, is he dead?
He might
hung
as well
himself?
be because he will never.
The bucket's kind of a
He will never answer the phone from Capcom again. And like they actually had him come back to start working on Legends, and like he's really pissed off. And then so just recently I saw that they released a Mega Man game, and it looks like Mega Man X, and everyone was like, "What?" But they're of course like really skeptical. So this is what it is. They finally released Mega Man after like what the 30th year anniversary, and instead of giving you a real game, it's on the iPhone. It's all the sprites from Mega Man X. And then you can only
Hang
run.
on.
You can
Please,
do.
no.
No, let him finish.
Yeah, you need to stop.
Shut
No,
up.
I
no,
just
seriously.
No, I don't
Ryan,
want to say
please.
anything. I just want to pause because what you're saying hurts, and I need some time.
The game
that's
makes
fair.
Mega Man run forward. There's only 2 enemies. He only runs forward, and you can only press the jump button and the shoot button. So what it is a game where he runs forward, and it's the old music. Down, 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 down,
That was a terrible impression, but continue.
No, it's stunning. You nailed it.
And then so you charge up, you jump, you shoot.
I'm sorry, that's
You shoot a bunch of bats, and then you get points, and then you unlock.
Don't hit me.
All right.
Travis picked up the Captain Morgan. Getting real.
So, Mega Man runs forward in a level that never changes, and he only shoots 2 enemies, and it's an iPhone game or something.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
Please don't. I don't want to verify this.
And you like earn like new powers or cards or something. You can collect shit, and that is the new Mega Man game for people.
Why did they make it? Why did the guy make it? Why didn't he go, really, Capcom? 30-year
It
anniversary?
doesn't sound like the guy made it.
No. This is just Capcom.
I thought he got called back in.
No. This is just Capcom saying, "Here's your new Mega Man."
I
game."
didn't even hear this, but it sounds like if that's what they asked him to do, he would have just shot somebody.
Like this was like they really
can't get a gun in
and they
Japan.
weren't just
He would
treating
have
it.
just stabbed somebody.
Samurai sword.
They have stabbing.
Capcom
stories.
wasn't treating it like this was just some iPhone game. Like there was they did the whole thing where like they gave you the title first, but didn't tell you what it was. After some months,
Ooh,
told
the
you
big leak.
Yeah, and then it was
They're gonna be
tell
so
you
excited.
What it's gonna be for, and then finally when the game trailer came out, people were like, "Oh, okay." And then finally it came out, just like it came out, and people were reviewing it, and I tried watching it, and it's just like really fucking sad. And you do get to fight some of the old bosses, and it's just really random.
But when you
It's
get
like
to the
Capcom.
boss area, do you just run past them? Like, oh, you get 2
No!
shots and then you ran past
It's the
them.
worst thing. You'll never guess how bad this is. Never.
I might guess.
No, it's a turn-based battle with the boss.
Ugh.
Oh,
You just
Lord.
shoot, and then he shoots.
Wait, is it called Mega Man X?
Something.
It really
like that.
captures the spirit of Mega Man boss battles of
I just
yore.
wanna say,
And it's
if
weird,
this-
it's
if
like
this is the game I'm
turn-based.
thinking You're talking about this
The
game
only
is-
game other than Street
game
Fighter
retails for
Capcom fans want is
$5.
Mega Man.
Because if there's any place to take away the jumping in a Mega Man game, it's in the boss fight.
top and averages.
And you know, we okay, like we've all been criticizing Japanese stuff for a while. We've been criticizing Capcom for a while, but honest to God, this is a new level that's just. I don't know how they could do this.
They have a character in
I feel
Mega
like
Man
if
X.
you and I tried our hardest to do the worst thing possible, we might not come up with something this bad.
No, I could come up with something better.
But you would come up with something too obviously bad.
Yeah.
We could be like, let's give Mega Man
Yeah.
a dick on
Yeah.
his face. Like we could do
His
that.
gun is a dick and shoots dicks.
like,
His helmet's got balls.
Like Mega Man X.
No.
Yeah, if the B vehicle was trapped in a really small room.
So
The fuck is that?
that's the old game.
This is just the
That's
old
Mega
game.
Man X.
Yeah.
That's Mega Man X.
No,
Don't
I didn't
don't
find
diss that
anything that
game.
says Mega Man.
There's a character in
Just put
Mega
new
Man
Mega Man
X
game.
named Vile, and I think he runs the company now.
Put new Mega Man game.
Why would it not show up if I just put in Mega Man?
That's not how it works.
Do you know how a search bar works?
Yes, I do actually. Probably better than you. Come to think of it now.
What?
If you put new Mega Man, you're gonna get titles on Google.
No, this is the App Store. He said it's
No, sorry. I meant Google search. That's what I thought we were
So it's
talking about.
not an app.
I don't know what it's called, Lucio, so I couldn't give you the help to.
Battle mode.
Oh, it might not be out now.
Okay. Maybe they...
Hey,
It
I
was a
don't know.
Japanese game.
I don't know how
Oh,
long you
okay,
guys
well.
could argue about this because one of you has to run past the other. So I mean, you got your shots in, and now it's over. Because Travis is over there now. Car crash sound. Hang on. Nope.
No.
Here.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I got it. No.
I don't...
No, I got it. Hang on a second.
That's really amazing.
Hang on a second.
Probably the last thing Capcom did that was good was Street Fighter 4.
Hang on a second. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and even that one.
Thank you.
It was really good, but
It was good.
yeah. I can only nitpick because it's so good.
Well, you know, Mega Man was in Tatsunoko versus Capcom, so
He was.
you know why put him in Capcom
And-
versus Marvel's Capcom?
And just as a fuck you, he was the Mega Man Legends Mega Man.
Yeah.
I like Mega Man Legends Mega Man,
Everyone did.
But
but yeah,
as a fuck you,
So much
Yeah.
that we would have liked a third
wouldn't
game.
that have led nicely into his new game
no, you're dreaming.
for this decade?
Is there anything left to talk about? We could argue about PC gaming.
Yeah.
I think it's gone on long enough.
It has. I mean,
We're-
we could set up
We're almost at 2
what
hours.
Travis hopefully wants to do.
Yes, let's talk about that briefly.
So recently,
yes. Do you
Let's
want to
just-
tell it or should I?
we can trade off.
So recently,
Recently,
We
I guess
just-
I'll start by saying initially I did not believe that Final Fantasy.
yeah,
13
you should go ahead and
was as
tell
bad
everyone how you
as-
feel about that.
so
shit.
recently, we decided to do a little experiment called "Is Final Fantasy 13 really as bad as Brian and Travis says it is?" And we involved Lucio and Andrew.
And as a
Andrew's not present, but Lucio is.
And as a point of reference, the last Final Fantasy game I played was Final Fantasy X, which I think everyone here liked.
Let's
I
all
think
talk about Final Fantasy
I-
X for a second. You,
I really liked it.
Travis?
when I was younger, I couldn't get into as much.
I really liked it. Continue.
So that being the last game I have as a reference point, it was much more linear than other Final Fantasies, but it did have a somewhat open world.
Sure.
It wasn't like you could get onto a world map and just go. It was more like you just go to a destination and then
Sure.
your destination's where you can go.
I like
But
that the story
plot-
was
the
weird.
story was
I
weird.
love that the
liked it.
ending was bittersweet.
Yeah, it was like an Empire ending, basically.
Yeah.
Except with no. Well,
With,
at
it
the
wasn't
time,
the
no
second
hope for a
movie.
sequel.
Well, why don't acknowledge the
yeah,
sequel?
and I don't think anyone does.
That didn't
So,
happen.
Yeah, I really liked everything about it for the most part. Yeah. So
I
that
thought
was,
they
that
did
was
a
my
great-
last jump off point. And
I thought they did a wonderful job world building, and I'm not even being sarcastic.
No, I liked it.
I really like the world of
Oh.
Final Fantasy X.
I like the characters.
What was the world?
I think I was the
Final
only person who
Fantasy
liked
X?
Kimari. I really liked him.
I didn't dislike
I
him.
didn't dislike him either.
You might be
Really?
the only person who liked
Yeah.
Tidus if you liked him.
I didn't like Tidus. I thought Orin was
I liked
cool.
He wasn't like I didn't need him to be like a hero.
Well,
But
I mean, there's
liked him.
annoying stuff.
Okay.
But I really liked
Maybe not the
Kimari.
Japanese
I thought he was
version.
awesome. So yeah, so it was. I guess it's less that I didn't. It wasn't even about the quality of Final Fantasy 13. The things that
I
they
liked
told
Waka.
me about it.
Hang on.
Don't.
I'm sorry, it's funny.
You know how pathetically you're putting a soundboard on a radio show right now?
I don't care, it's funny.
Okay.
So,
It's for my
So it's not
amusement.
so much that I believe the game couldn't be bad. It was that the things that made it bad sounded ridiculous, even by like bad video games.
You couldn't believe it,
They
right?
literally told me you walk in a straight line.
This is
And
what I told
thought-
you. This is what I told you.
We're talking about Final Fantasy 13
Where
right
Where
now,
we
not
jumped to
10.
13. In Final Fantasy 13, I said there are no towns, there are no characters, and you walk forward for an hour. In a straight line, there is no exploration. You are just walking forward on a highway that goes on into infinity in the background.
You know, and that's to say the least of what happens within the first hour, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yes.
but I'm saying that's just as a starting point. And my response was, I feel like you're exaggerating, and that the straight
Nah.
line at least, like, even my brain, I rationalized that there must be at least be like a winding road. Like, that's really because in my brain, I'm like, there's no way it
Oh,
could just
Lucio.
literally be like a block road.
Oh, Lucio.
And so one
Oh.
night we decided, you know what, let's do this. So Andrew and I went and we bought a copy of Final Fantasy.
How much did it
13.
cost?
Please don't tell me.
We actually talked the guy down because we were like, we don't really want to buy this, and so he let us have for like $25.
That is a
Yeah,
great
which is-
bargaining tactic.
like we walked in there and we were like, hey, do you, like it must have been really funny from his perspective because I said,
Because you said, hey,
I
do you
said,
have Final Fantasy
He's like,
13?
oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah?
And I said, okay, cool. I was like, oh, thank you, man. And I was like, oh.
That's expensive for
Huh.
Final Fantasy 13.
And Andrew and I literally just kind of stood there for a minute, just staring at it, like, well, and like, I mean, from the guy behind the counter, so he just saw us like mumbling to each other, like we weren't even picking it up. So we were just like, well,
Like drugs, like you were second
And
guessing
then I
whether you're
turned
going
around
to
and
do
I
it or
said,
not.
well, do you?
I was kinda
is that-
hoping
that's
you'd
the
say
only
no.
copy you have? I was like, do you have a scratch? I think I might even ask, like, do you have like a scratched one for like $10 or something?
Do you have a copy that costs much less than that?
And he was like, well, no. He's like, no, I can take like $7 off. I think he bullshitted because he's like, oh no, yeah, this is actually on sale right now, so I can let you have this for like 25. I was like,
Could you make
so
it be
I,
on
and
sale
I wasn't,
for
I
more?
wasn't even done there. I called because I was like, well, okay, let's make sure everyone's gonna be okay with this first. 'Cause even that's what I was like. So I called Brian. I was like, hey,
Emergency phone
do
call.
you want to pay this much? It's gonna be like $10 each, maybe. And Brian was like, yeah, let's just do it. And so we bought it.
Worth the price of
And we brought it
admission.
back, and holy shit. We played for 2 hours, and there were no exaggerations with anything they said.
If anything, I undersold how bad it
yeah,
was.
actually, you did.
Because I
was
forgot
actually-
the pedo angle.
and it was also like everything about it.
Horrendous.
I think the same lines of dialogue were used ad nauseum. There were like four lines, and different people just say them.
Mothers are
for
brave.
Mothers are brave.
Is it mothers are brave or
no,
mothers, are strong?
Moms are strong. Moms. It was mom. It wasn't even mothers. It was
Moms are
Moms
strong.
are strong. And
Except when they die.
don't forget, your hero's coming.
Oh,
the hero.
fucking Kurt Cobain
Oh,
wouldn't
hero.
shut up about being a hero for his underage bride.
This kid, he's got to tell him how he feels.
The first
Tell him how
hour.
you feel.
These games are like a fever dream for a Japanese student with 2 years of English.
Yes.
It
And the
was,
character archetypes were bland, uninteresting woman, black dude who was afraid of things,
And he was the only interesting character, and he was only interesting because he was kind of offensive.
Kurt Cobain who was obsessed with being
I thought
a
he was just
hero.
normal.
That's what I'm saying. He was
why-
kind of interesting because he's. Well, that's what I mean by offensive is that he's the black guy, and everyone else can do all this shit, and he's just like, oh.
Kurt
that's not a
Cobain who
problem
thinks
to
he's a
that.
No, but
hero.
it's sad.
Let's
It's
get
not
through
a
this.
problem. to them. I don't know
Everyone else can
why.
do, I can't. He.
Let's get through this. Shinji Ikari,
Yeah.
he is present, and a creepy, obviously underage pink-haired girl.
See, I don't even know if to them, the people that made it, was obvious. That was
Obviously underage, obviously sexualized female. I will say
crazy.
this.
She was like 4 feet tall, wasn't she?
The first hour of the game, we were bored out of our minds, and then we became horrified.
I would say it was like
There's-
delirious. It was like deliriously.
It was delirious.
There's a romance
Deliriously
scene
comedic.
that
It
is
was just-
straight out of Hard Candy, where Kurt Cobain is romancing a girl who cannot be older than 12 years old.
They're sitting next to each other at one point on like a chair,
And they're
or
talking
something.
about getting married.
She looks like 4 feet tall. Like
She couldn't be more than 3'6".
She's really.
She is a 12-year-old girl, and I will not
Kurt Cobain's
accept
like 7 feet tall.
any This game is so pedo-ish, it should have opened like a fucking hentai game saying all characters depicted are 18 years old or older.
Actually, yeah, that would have been
That
a little more
should
reassuring.
have been
been-
the tagline to the game. Final Fantasy 13. All characters appearing are at least 18 years old or older. But you will find out about this when we finally do our very special episode of
give it
Final
away to
Fantasy
Travis.
13. This is your part, Travis.
I'm feeling like a real rage coming
You have
on.
no idea.
I can almost not. I'm starting to realize over the years that go by, like I'm becoming more and more. What do you?
Less tolerant of
No,
this
no, no.
shit?
Ornery.
I think a believable environment is
Cherubic?
becoming. Is did you say cherubic?
Yeah.
You said
Like
cherubic?
angelic face
Yeah.
looking?
Yeah.
No.
What?
That's not what you were
He is a
becoming
cutie
more of?
pie.
I know I'm a cutie pie, but
Swarthy?
so I'm becoming more swarthy. No, I think one of the bigger sells for me in any kind of thing, whether it's a book or especially a movie or TV show, is how believable are the characters versus the environment? Is everything hooked together like a nice chain? Like is
Sure.
all consistent? And I was really offended by Final Fantasy 13 because as soon as it starts up, you have grown men who made the game, like adult people with the brains of I don't know. They thought it was okay.
12-year-old girls.
They thought it was okay to give you a female named Lightning who can be
They
based...
thought it was okay to give you a character named Snow who fucks underage girls.
Okay, stop. They thought they could give you Lightning, who is basically a fucking Dragon Ball Z character, and then
Yes.
right next to her is a fumbling character. And for me to
She's
not
Piccolo. She's totally Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. Because she's just stern and angry all
Oh,
the time.
okay, yeah, yeah.
She's got
Well,
no other traits.
What
Yeah,
a
but-
weird character to jump to.
But-
She's like Piccolo.
I'm not.
Yeah,
denying
but
that, I'm
in
just saying-
anime there's only...
She said Dragon Ball Z and he nailed it.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
but in anime, there's only 14 archetypes. Like, I'm almost fucking serious.
Yeah,
like,
no,
so
yeah.
Piccolo is in every anime.
Yeah.
Does
but-
Zaz have a mustache?
Who?
Zaz?
I don't know
Yeah,
who Zaz
yeah.
his
Is
name
he
is
just Mr.
Zaz.
Satan?
Yeah, he's Mr. Sad.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a character who's just you. So in my mind, okay, I'm in a fantasy realm where characters do marvelous things. They have this ability, but why is she with the
I didn't
character
see anything marvelous.
who's clearly just like so? It insults me. It insults me that they did this, and I'm not supposed to feel like, wait a minute.
Her
Why didn't
character
it bother
is a
them?
rough draft of the mood that is supposed to be evoked.
It's.
They wrote down stern and then didn't write down any other thing. They wrote down stern.
No, I'm talking about more
comma,
than that.
Woman.
She
talking
was like
about all of the
flying
elements.
through the
Print,
air
yeah.
and like flipping and light like powers and swords and
Yeah,
shit.
she has an anti-grav unit.
Is that what they say?
Actually,
Dude,
yeah, didn't
They
she
say
have
it.
something
They
like that?
they
Yeah.
don't say it. They put. This is how bad the game is. I can't wait. They don't explain anything, but they put a fucking conjecture log
Yeah, that's
where
right.
yeah, where all of the actual relevant information of the game is stored.
But they posit it like
God.
a to be continued.
Yeah,
episode
and
of
they
soap
give you
opera.
it
They like
in-
ask you these
In
like
Oh, it's
pamphlet
weird.
amounts.
pedantic questions like, "Oh, but what is driving lightning on?"
Yes, dude, that's a direct quote.
yeah.
So to all
what
you
is it that drives
gamers,
this fierce warrior?
so to all you gamers out there who weren't offended, I want to know. Just tell me why this didn't hurt your feelings as an individual with a brain. Like why? How do your standards get so low where you're just like, okay, yeah, no, okay, oh, okay, well, that's cool, that's okay, okay. And then just for the
We'll
record,
never get an answer to that.
just for the record, the second thing that offended me the most was the group of bandits made up of really trendy, futuristic-looking kids that all looked like they needed to be in like a Disney concert on acid, and these were freedom fighters. So this is the world I'm supposed to buy into. I'm supposed to bite into this. I don't know if that hurt your guys as much as it hurt
I
me.
wouldn't-
Where, like there's
it
these
was-
freedom fighters, these kids with like big goggles and cool clothes,
There's
and like
a-
really attractive,
there's
like,
a
and they were
techno
holding
priest.
guns in all these weird ways. Like we
Yeah.
gotta fight
and
off
there's
this.
a guy with a triple fucking mohawk that's got like jagged lines
Oh,
cut
the-
in.
the
He's
wild
like,
one.
"Ooh, I'm a beast man. I
He-
carry my gun like this."
Me
Woo!"
and Andrew were so upset
They look
that
like wrestlers.
they animate a freedom fighter to the degree where he's obviously that's the thing about anime. It doesn't trust you to understand a character, so they draw the character first.
draw the character.
That's the vapidness of anime. They say, you know what, we're not good enough at actually giving you a human characteristic, so we're just gonna draw it, and then you believe it. That's why they all look the same in anime. It's
why I
not
don't
it's not an
watch anime.
accident. If a character is a
Yeah, you
villain,
do.
they just
Do
draw
I?
a villain. If a character
What
is
have
a
I
wild
watched?
man, then he holds his gun like a
That's
bow.
not an anime.
I know. It was the first random thing I could think of. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, but you have a good point.
You're
That's
saying
what it
everything
is.
that we
Yeah.
said in the hour that we played through, but
Okay,
we
so-
said it
moving
exactly.
on,
Maybe
moving
we-
on, moving
so
on.
Leading up to
Moving
what we'd
on.
like to do.
Moving on, I'm working on doing visual stuff. So our first installation of our kind of let's play type thing is I want to have us.
This is what we aspire to achieve.
aspire.
We're
gonna-
as close as we were 6 months ago.
But
to achieving
honestly,
this
I'm
goal.
hoping if nothing else, we can make fun of a really terrible game, and maybe it'll lead into a discussion about good games.
We are
and
going to
it'll-
play through
We're gonna Mystery
as much
Science
of this
Theater.
game as possible.
Oh boy!
We're gonna have an open mind, just like we did when we originally bought it.
You know what? As
And
jaded as I sound, I
guarantee
can
you,
do that. I don't have a problem doing that.
We are not going to make it to hour 40. We're going to make it as far as we can force ourselves to go, and in the end, we'll probably say, what point would you have quit at? And we will all say sometime within the first 15 minutes, probably. But within the hour for sure.
Honestly, though, for the cutscene that we saw right when we stopped, that was kind of worth making it to the 2 hours we played, because that was just
That is not-
ridiculous.
that is not what I call earning something.
I didn't say earned.
That is like
I said it was
surprise
almost
child
worth it.
porn.
It was like
Yes, it's a
hilarious.
notable thing that happened, but for all the wrong reasons.
Okay, let's say this. Let's try and
But
go
I'm
a
saying
solid.
everything that led up to it was what gave it that nice culmination, because it was just absurd.
Because we had been beaten down by this drivel.
Exactly.
And right at the point where we were ready to surrender, we saw child pornography.
Okay. Let's try and get to 4 hours, and if we can say fairly to.
I don't know if I could do 4 times of that.
That's fine.
1 hour was brutal. I'm gonna try.
That's fine. 2
I know you
hours.
can do 4 hours of that.
I'm
can
gonna
do
be a
it.
trooper,
So,
but I
I
might die.
I think what we should do is after 4 hours. Obviously, we'll cut it so it's shorter for everyone else. But we'll try and do 4 hours, and then we could say to the developers and all the fans, if we couldn't find something worthwhile within 4 hours, really, why should I ever play
A
this
movie
game?
gets 15 minutes to lose you.
Yeah.
This game takes 40 hours to become interesting. 40 hours?
Is that what they said? 20 or 40?
40. I've heard
I
35
heard
if you're going
20.
fast.
I heard
For
20
20.
pretty consistently.
I've heard 35 if you're going fast and 40 if you're not.
That's unacceptable.
But let's say this, we're going to do 4 hours minimum, but we're going to try to get as far as
We'll
we
just
can.
Try. I don't even want to put a time on it, because...
Yeah, I just want to say 4 hours minimum because that's long enough for a let's play, and it needs to be torture. If it's going to be hostile, it needs to be hostile 1 and 2.
I'm not going to do shots every time they
I
say
am. I need
Hero.
alcohol. No. If you
then-
take, I'm going to say this now. We're going to do some drinking games. One of the drinking games is not going to be every time Snow says your hero is coming, because you will
Not
die.
Even Snow, other people, anyone saying
It's Snow.
hero.
It's all
No,
on
but
Snow.
remember fucking
But they call him Hero
Wild
too.
Man,
Yeah.
hero.
Go be a hero, Snow.
hero.
I'm gonna go be a hero. You be a hero, Snow.
Be that
I
hero.
am a hero.
Your hero's
Hero's
here.
coming through.
Oh, my hero came.
We're already dead. We're already
We're all
dead.
dead inside.
I think this is a good place to stop. But before
Probably
we
2
do,
hour mark.
I just want to point out that the only time my jokes work is when no one notices. That's the only time when I just slide them in there.
I like picking up on them.
Yeah,
I don't.
I know.
I know, you're just a little angry man.
I think they suck.
So this was downloadable conflict, and we conflicted, I think, fairly well.
Yeah, I
and
think
you could
so.
download this when we host it.
Yeah.
So enjoy.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Yeah. Until next time. You should
Huh?
come back.
I'd like that. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
It was
engaging.
fun.
I like because now there's more
You're two
arguing
handsome men.
dynamics.
I was almost happy.
I still feel like we're
I feel bad
scaring
that
Felicia
he
away.
had to take the
It's
brunt
okay.
of it.
It's okay. It's what he
Huh?
deserves.
I'm a monster.
Yeah.
You are a monster.
The monster inside.
I'm a
One of these
beast.
days we're gonna get Felicia to actually
I
join
think
in.
she did really well.
Did she?
Yeah,
I
I
liked
think
her input.
I think the fact that
She did
lives,
a killer drawing on my
I'm not
notes.
sure how comfortable I am forcing a woman to do things for
I'm
us.
extremely comfortable
Frankly.
forcing her to do my bidding.
Games that I have no idea
Yeah, it's
I've
nothing to
never
do.
Played, so I get.
I think the
antsy.
fact that she lets you do this and live with her.
You know
It's
what would be a
great.
fun one? Is
not
I will
enough.
play Warcraft, and then
Yeah.
we should talk about why
I can
people
talk
like
about
Travis are very adverse to it, and what it is to kind of get into it. That would be kind of interesting. Because I have to admit, I liked it, but it didn't grab me.
Yeah.
It's just there's some
You
people.
know-
It doesn't work because I got really excited for Guild Wars. Not that I was like on the whole wagon for
If
it,
you don't buy this game, you're out, my friend.
It's episode 2 now.
but
Are we
no,
gonna get into that?
no, no, no,
again?
no, no.
No, I'm just.
I
why?
can do this short. I didn't get on the whole wagon for Guild Wars 2, but I let myself understand what the game was going to be, and I went, those sound like a really cool thing, especially for like a free game.
Yeah.
Great. I played it, and there wasn't anything really wrong with it either.
Yeah,
I
it just
couldn't-
exists.
I just was so bored,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even really the game's fault. I just knew that like this isn't how I want to
just
spend
not
my
for you.
time. Yeah.
Also,
I
I
say
should play more games that you guys have played because I like
not
coming back
WoW,
to them.
Tor. Try Tor because
Okay.
it's free.
Oh,
That
it
is one that I'll
free.
get to,
Oh,
yeah.
You can go all the way to 50 free.
Yeah, we gotta try that. That's gonna be cool.
And if you like Tor,
But
maybe
he-
you dip your
you
toes
played
in WoW.
some
Can I
of-
be a Wookiee though? 'Cause that's as close as you can get to a black.
No, but you can have a Wookiee.
he's kind of straight.
You can be a Zabrak, and
I
they're
don't
very
know
black.
why.
Look at Darth Maul; he's black as shit.
But
No, he's like Samoan or something.
Oh,
you played the
please.
first KOTOR,
He's
right?
3
I
feet
started
tall. He
playing-
can't
I
be
really love that
Samoan.
game.
Yeah.
I
It's
stopped
like
playing this.
KOTOR 3 through 7.
The great thing about KOTOR that's also kind of intimidating.
Every
was
time I
it's
say
just
that,
so
Travis
big,
just
and I
fucking
remember
dies.
Thinking, like, I'm doing like 3 different things right now. I gotta back up for a second.
Yeah. You
But
kinda
I
have
really
to-
liked it a lot.
So try Tor.
Yeah. So this
Play
is
with
really
me
cool.
and Coinmeister. No,
No.
also her.
I played too.
Yeah,
Who's Coinmeister?
he's our number 1 fan.
He's a good man.
Aside from
He's a
Arrow,
good man.
and aside from you,
Good man.
and aside from
He's a good boy. He's
He's a good man,
a good
myself,
I suppose.
and maybe my mother.
We should end this podcast.
Oh, please, yes.
What do you say, Palpatine?
man. We need to go. That wasn't right.
Hang on, I got the perfect ending. Hang on,
Oh,
hang on, hang on.
Here comes.